it. Mute button. It's you, Jock. It's good.
She's got my number. She's got me good. She's got my number.
While you're back there.
Nice.
Oh.
She gets mad. They're gonna think with the money is so bad.
The music's great.
I like the good stuff.
The balls should be Jody's and sports stations. WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, and online at KTC Broadcasting.com and W268CU Shelby.
Spanning 6 decades of sun, fun, and beach music classics.
Hey, this can't be right.
It's
This can't be right. This is the wrong log.
In 1983, Bill Shuford Heating and Air has been providing dependable service and quality products to the Cleveland County and surrounding area. And the tradition continues today with quality American Standard heated and air conditioning systems. Just give them a call at 704-484-0025 and they'll help you select the right American Standard system for your needs. Bill Shuford Heating and Air, 213 Campbell Street in Shelby, your American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, where your comfort is our concern. $600 down delivers. That's right, $600 down delivers at Blanton Cars in Shelby. If you're looking for the best deal on pre-owned vehicles, come to Blanton Cars and pay $600 down on selected vehicles. Blanton Cars makes car buying simple. All you need is proof of residence and income. Buy here, pay here at Blanton Cars in Shelby. Visit one of the two locations, 325 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby and 1711 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at BlantonCars.com. Campers Inn in Kings Mountain presents their second annual holiday bike drive. Camping out for kids December 8th, 9th, and 10th. Campers Inn has partnered with the Kings Mountain Police Department to collect new bikes for the children in our community. They are hoping to collect from 150 to 200 new bikes, from toddlers to teens, and they do all the work. Just bring your unassembled bike and they'll put it together for you. You can help make Christmas brighter for a child this year. Plan now to participate in the second annual Camping Out for Kids Holiday Bike Drive, December 8th, 9th, and 10th at Campers Inn, Highway 161 South at I-85 in Kings Mountain. A new year and no fear from Ford and Classic Ford Lincoln in Shelby. With special price incentives, you'll have no fear in purchasing your new Ford from Classic Ford Lincoln in Shelby. Save up to $4,000 on the 2017 Ford Explorer, Ford Edge, and Ford Focus, and up to $10,459 in savings on the new 2018 Ford F-150 XLT Crew Cab. Plus big savings on the lineup of pre-owned vehicles. New year, no fear from Ford and Classic Ford Lincoln, 1775 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at ClassicFordofShelby.com.
Former club members Denzel Washington and Jennifer Lopez for the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future.
You can change a child's future. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
You can open doors for children to have great futures at the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland County. Visit us at 412 West Sumter Street or at greatfutures.org.
If it's time to spruce up your home, then head to Cleveland Lumber Company in Shelby. Make your home look like new. See the new display of Larson doors, plus stair spindles by Crown Heritage. And for those patios and porch areas, Cleveland Lumber Company in Shelby has Trex flooring. Put it down and forget it. Plus all the tools you'll need if you're a do-it-yourselfer. Your home projects begin and end with a stop at Cleveland Lumber Company, 217 Airwood Street in Shelby.
Cherryville Ironman Sports right here on Big O Country, WCSL 1590 AM, Cherryville, Gastonia. Online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
I'm Lon Helton, inviting you to join me as I count down the week's top 30 with my co-host Maren Morris, who's about to be married.
We're getting married in a couple months, and it's crazy. I mean, I can't imagine spending my life with anyone else.
That's Maren Morris this week on Country Countdown USA.
Country Countdown USA with Lon Helton, Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com. DNS Travel Tours in Gastonia is hosting two big travel shows. Thursday, January 18th, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. at the Clock Restaurant on Highway 74 East in Shelby, and Saturday, January 20th, 10 until 3 at the First Free Will Baptist Church, Union Road in Gastonia. Come by and pick up your free 2018 tour catalog. Register to win travel gift certificates and prizes. Meet the travel staff. And at the Gastonia show, enjoy the entertainment of Steve Brogan, Christian comedian. It's absolutely free to attend. For more information, call DNS Travel Tours at 704-864-0348. That's 704-864-0348, and plan your getaway today.
It's time to play at the Kings Mountain Country Club. Play and ride on the new cart paths. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Seniors 55 and older can ride and play 18 holes Monday through Friday for just $24. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for just $37. For tee times, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club, located on 109 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain.
Good morning. I'm trying to wash down our. You got us on there, Jock. Yes.
Can I hear myself? Oh, I got to turn myself up. There we go. Good, nice, and it's warm looking outside, Terry. If I look out this window, and it looks like a nice regular winter morning, but it's only 7
Just
degrees.
step out. That's all you have to do. Just step out.
7 degrees. It hurts to open the door or roll down a window or anything. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're nice and warm, whether you're in your cars or at home. Hopefully, everybody's at home.
Well, let's hope most
Sitting
people
by
are.
the logs.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for my dad because he has to work out in this weather for about 6 to 8 hours. So, I mean, it's got to be extremely tough. He's having to do this the whole week, too.
Hey, Smoke, tell him that if, he chose that job, he can come in the studios and talk football with us if he wants to. I mean, I'm sure we'll get him. I bet if we fire you and hire him, that he'll be here on time more than you are. Yeah? He don't even want to comment on that, Mark. Good morning, Saturday Sports Talk. Jock Anderson's here running the studios. JP might show up, might not, don't know. Hadn't heard from him. Don't know about that. JP, if you're listening, we'll see you in a few minutes. Smoke Evan Little is here. Terry Reinhardt. I'm Kevin Hastings. And we are washing down our Mitchum's Kitchens biscuits. I've got an egg and cheese biscuit. Terry, what'd you have this morning?
My gravy biscuits and bologna is gone. Fantastic.
Yeah, he got a head start over us.
Gravy biscuits and bologna. Well, I was watching him eating during the pregame show down the hall, sitting in the studio. Actually, I saw Terry's in there. He must have something good. He's got the forks that going. Smoke, what you got? Your sausage biscuit this morning?
Yes, sir.
And Jock, what you eating in there?
A chicken biscuit. Well, I ate it.
Oh, it's
gone too.
What do you do? Did you put jelly on that thing?
Yes, sir.
So jelly goes on the chicken biscuit.
Yep.
Now, where'd you learn that from?
Is it grape or apple?
I don't know. It's good.
I didn't know if that was you saw your mom did it first, or somebody you know in your family, or anybody else that likes that, or anything.
No, it's just good.
That's just a Jock Anderson special, right?
Yes.
They need to put that on the menu down
They
there.
do.
At Mitchum's,
Now,
Terry.
Jock, is that grape on it or apple on it?
Grape.
Grape.
Grape
So there you go.
jelly. Man, I tell you what, you could ask anybody within a 2 to 3 mile radius of this radio station, and you could probably find like 15 different breakfast orders on how everybody eats their either their liver mush or their bologna or now we got grape jelly on chicken biscuits. I mean, it's just everybody eats a different little combo. And me and Smokes over here with the sausage biscuit and egg and cheese, just plain Jane, huh?
Yeah, I'm very plain.
Oh, but we had a good night of basketball last night in the area. Smoke was over Lake Norman Charter and Lincoln. I was at Burns and Kings Mountain, and Cherryville and Bessemer also had a big game last night here on KTC. Smoke, a little bit real quick about y'all's game, Lake Norman Charter and Lincoln.
Well, in the first minute, Lake Norman Charter looked like world beaters. They got off to a 5-0 start. Coach Cowie called a timeout, and right after that, the defense started to pick up, and Lincoln didn't really look back. They got as big.
He didn't yell at anybody, did he?
He didn't yell at the officials. I bet he yelled at some of his.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't yell at any players, did he, to get that defense going again?
I don't know, but I tell you what, he had an interesting way to start off. We were talking about Chris Robinson to start off the game, and we're like, hang on, he's not even starting last night. I don't know what that was, but he got in within a minute in the game after a bad turnover by Skylar Evans, and then things kind of mellowed out. And the defense last night is really what took over the game because Lake Norman Charter is a team that likes to shoot the ball from behind the arc, and they weren't really able to do that against the 2-3 zone of Lincolnton. And just the athleticism that Tyshawn Harris, he was flying all over the court, just diving for balls, leaping to save balls from going out of bounds, everything that you could imagine from Tyshawn Harris he did. And Cowie, of course, shot the ball well.
So I was going to say he had, 20 points?
Yeah, he had 15 of them in the first half. And, Lincolnton, they only won by 13 points, but they were up as many as 20. They just called off the dogs in the last minute or two that got Lake Norman Charter to make it look more competitive than it actually was. So
well, it's a game, Cowie just picked up his 3-0 win not too long ago. Mm-hmm. And, when you're coming in this, hey, coach has got to take over and say, look, guys, look what's happening here. Get a focus on this because you don't need to fall behind Lake Norman Charter. This is a team you should beat with your athleticism, as you're talking about. I mean, was Lincoln in that much more physically better than them or just the ability of the players?
Well, I think they were more physical and they were better because, they had a 6'5" center go against Jamal Littlejohn, who's pretty big, pretty well built, but he's 6'2". You think, hey, this 6'5" guy should take care of him down low in the paint, getting rebounds. No, Jamal Littlejohn was forcing himself to get rebounds and just was so aggressive down low into paint. That played such a big factor, and he was dominating that big guy that really wasn't playing like a guy that should be a center. So I think that shows that Jamal Littlejohn plays bigger than he actually is. And, I mean, when you have a center that plays bigger than he actually is and is as physical as Jamal Littlejohn, that could help down the stretch.
Oh, yeah. I guarantee every bit of that.
So, Smoke, you guys final last night again?
62-49, Lincoln wins over Lake Norman Charter, and they now gain sole possession of the South Fork 2A Conference, having a tiebreaker over East Lincoln by beating them back before Christmas break.
Terry, you got the other scores in Lincoln County there. What you got?
I got East Lincoln over Maiden 52-43. It was Bandy's over West Lincoln 57-52. And me and Smoke, this was kind of a shocker for us. Newton Conover defeats North Lincoln 74-57.
I wonder why, Smoke. Who
not
gave him the kiss of death yesterday?
Did I say that they were?
Yes, you did, Terry. He gave him the kiss of death yesterday afternoon. We were just, it didn't even bring it. Smokes even wouldn't have brought it up. Wow, he gave him the kiss of death. I ain't gonna tell you what he said.
I mean, heck, I saw Coach. I mean, a lot of coaches were shocked too. I saw Coach Howell, one of the assistant coaches for East Lincoln. All he typed was, "Wow." He was pretty shocked too about it. So, I mean,
congratulations to
Newton Conover.
Newton Conover in the big win.
I mean, they took care of business last night. I don't know what happened. I'll talk to Coach Booger sometime, but you know.
He might not want to talk to you.
He want nothing to do with
but I mean, for a team like North Lincoln, they can't afford a loss like this because you know they need every win they can get because they might be in that come a month from now might be on the edge of making the playoffs or not, depending on what happens.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the standings now, Lincoln in 4-1, East Lincoln 4-1, then followed up by Lake Norman Charter, Maiden, and Bandy's all 3-2. Newton Conover comes in next at 2-3, followed by North Lincoln at 1-4, and West Lincoln at 0-5. So you looking at the bottom before long, Smoke. But in the girls' action last night, it was Bandy's over West Lincoln 56-31, Newton Conover over North Lincoln in girls 66-52. Lincoln in no trouble with Lake Norman Charter 60-31, and Maiden over East Lincoln 72-58. Maiden continues to roll. They go to 5-0 and 12-1 in the conference, and then they got a 2-game lead over everybody. Lake Norman Charter, East Lincoln, and Lincoln are all 3-2, followed by Newton Conover at 2-2, Bandy's 2-3, North Lincoln 1-4, and West Lincoln 0-4 in the conference.
Now that Maiden, I'm shocked that they're still dominating as much as they have been, considering that they graduated their best player last year, Grace Cannella, and now it seems like they haven't missed a beat in girls basketball this year.
Well, looking over in the, you guys got any more notes on that conference?
No, that was it. We move on.
All right, moving over to Southern Piedmont 1A real quick. Let's talk conference standings. Only a few teams to play. Is that JP? JP, yes.
JP.
It's almost Sunday. Good morning, JP. Lincoln Charter and Highland Tech both 1-0 in the conference. Piedmont Charter 0-1, Cherryville 0-1, Bessemer City 0-0, and Thomas Jefferson 0-0. But that changed last night. I guess they haven't got the updated on Max. It's too cold for Max Preps to get them updated before we get started this morning because Bessemer beat Cherryville. Oh, that was a non-conference game actually last night. Bessemer beat Cherryville in a non-conference game. They played 3 times this year. Terry, did you know that a lot of these teams are playing each other 3 times in this conference this year because they can't find this competition in this 1A and the Charters?
And is that not? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, for the 1A, and I'm gonna speak of Cherryville and Bessemer City. When you start having to play each other continuous, I never liked that when I was coaching of playing the same county teams over 3 times or 4 times in a year. I mean, they use almost, exactly what the other team's going to do, who they're going to go to, what's going to be the call when the play has to happen. I mean, it's
especially
too easy.
And if it's a mismatch too, you don't want to play again. You've been if you're the team that's been beaten the ground twice, but we maybe get a full explanation on that some other time. But to me, in basketball, it shouldn't really matter what A you are for the most part. Regular season. Football, it definitely matters because just the amount of kids you can get. But I'm sitting there last night at 3A high schools, and they only got 10, 11 players on their team. It's not like they're full of they got 15 deep. And I don't know what the rules are and how many people, if it's not enough people coming out. But I played every team I played on had 14 or 15 people. That we had so many jerseys we had. You had two you had 2 sets of people. You go 5-on-5 in practice, and each squad had about 2 backups, and maybe even more than that, depending on how many you got. But I don't know if the numbers are down participation wise or not, or what's going on with that. But of course, some of the schools won't play the charters, and things like that help with those. But as far as Cherryville investment goes, they shouldn't have any problems getting other games with these other area 2A schools in the area.
Yeah, they should. And you speaking of, how many players per team. I know when you're in middle school, sometimes I've been to places they'll have 20 people sitting over there on the bench, and I worry about that because I know a lot of kids over there, if they're not playing Optimus or playing AAU or something, then they're really not getting playing time, and that bothers me because I think every kid in the middle school, up even as 9th and 10th graders, freshmen and sophomores, should have all the playing ability they can have. If you're not a starter, and I'll put it like that because I know how it gets in high school, if you're not a starter and you're like the 7th and 8th person down, you need to be playing either AAU or Optimus or something to make yourself better, where one time that you can take over a starting spot. But, some schools only go with 10 people, and I can understand that because you're asking for give guys playing time or girls playing time, and if you do not, then you hear it from the parents or the grandparents. How come my student's not getting to play? And I mean it comes from there too.
Well, and usually this has actually kind of died down over the past 10 years, but tryouts used to be a big factor in a lot of sports too, but that's kind of gone to the wayside. So I mean, you see more 40
to 50 people. Now this is at Cherryville High School. There was probably 40 of us, maybe 50 that tried out for that. They split you up into JV. Y'all come in at once in the first day, but it was 40, 50 of us out there trying out. And they would split you down and make cuts, and I guess there's not even close to that many right now wanting to play.
Well, I was getting ready to say that you were in an elite group because when I was back in school, that's how ours went. We had 2 cuts.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first cut. If you made it by Monday, then the next cut was made on Friday before they understood who the team was going to be by Monday.
The only thing that really caused some problems maybe was when the sports crossed over during the end of the season because these seasons are set up by regular season schedules. They're not set up for
postseason.
Basketball starts when the football regular season's over. It don't start when the postseason's over. So, if your team makes a postseason run, you're starting late. I'd never started a baseball season. I'd never been speaking of tryouts, Terry, I never tried out for baseball. I was in basketball, past tryouts. You had to, either I had to go off what I did last year, and if the coach thought I improved over the summer, I had no tryouts. In some of there was a couple of us like that. Tyler Rainwater was like that. Franklin Allen was like that. Eric Davis was like that. I mean, our whole 10th grade, half our whole 10th grade basketball team played baseball too. And so I don't know how they handle that now. But looking at Cherryville's schedule, I'm going to read these to you. Charlotte Learning Academy, Sugar Charter School, North Gaston, and West Lincoln. That's their only 2 local other teams they play. The rest of it, Tri-Christian, Lincoln Charter, Thomas Jefferson, Highland Tech, Sugar Creek Charter, Piedmont Charter, Highland School Tech, back to the same team, Sugar Creek, Piedmont Charter, Bessemer, Highland Tech, Lincoln Charter, Thomas Jefferson, same teams over and over and over. And
and this is Cherryville's basketball schedule.
It's not like and you look at these local schools. It's not like some of these other schools. We used to play Burns at a conference. We played. Shelby was in our conference. And speaking of that, it was Cherryville and Shelby were the 2 best teams back then, and it was in the same conferences with Lincoln, West Lincoln, Bessemer City, Shelby. Chase was in the conference a couple of years there. And then now it's just kind of weird that they don't really play each other.
I'm shocked they don't play Chase. I know Bessemer plays Chase, but I mean, it's. I bet it's so hard just trying to find. This year I think has been more whacked out than other years with the new realignment. New conference. We saw it in football. There was a lot of weird matchups we haven't seen before. So I mean, this could possibly be, possibly be worse than it has been in years past because of that. But yeah, it's definitely noticeable. Lack of schools playing each other.
Yeah, let's finish up the standings there in the 1A. Dang it, I backed out of it for a second. Lincoln Charter's on top with the best record. Cherryville's got 10 wins already as well. Lincoln Charter 11-3, Cherryville 10-4. Bessemer City, they came in that game last night, 4-6. Terry, that was Danny McDowell, Coach Danny McDowell's 200th career victory. Used to coach at Kings Mountain High School. Was once a Gazette Coach of the Year. Team started 5-6, and they won last night. 4-6, won last night to go 5-6. Let's see. See if any other notes. Marcus Nelson led Bessemer City with 20. Jay Sadler 17, and Lamar had 16. Matt Kane with 16 points, and Lane Harrell 10 points for Cherryville. So, and then they'll play each other a couple more times, like I was talking about this year. Looking back at the conference real quick, Highland Tech 6-6, Piedmont School 7-7, and Thomas Jefferson 1-7. All right, real quick, let's do this 3A bracket real quick for our break. Jock, give me 5 minutes. We're going to go a little bit about 5 minutes, girl. Kings Mountain, Ashbrook, North Gaston, Huss, Kramer, Forest View, Crest, and Burns. In that order in the conference, Kings Mountain 6-0 last night after a victory over Burns. Ashbrook 4-1, North Gaston 4-1, Huss 3-2, Kramer 2-3, Forest View 2-4, and Burns and Crest both 0-5 in conference play. Kings Mountain 11-4 overall, Ashbrook 10-5. Kings Mountain's already beat Ashbrook. North Gaston is 11-3 overall. Huss sitting there at 7-6. Kramer at 6-7. So they're right in the middle of the pack. And Forest View, Crest, and Burns at the bottom. Crest finally got their first win. Howbeit over an Australian team, so they still haven't beat their first American team this season.
Well, the scores from last night was Ashbrook 64, Stuart Kramer 53, North Gaston over Crest 66-45, Kings Mountain over Burns 78-42, and Hunter Huss over Forest View 65-56.
I got to say, North Gaston's really been surprised this year. I mean, I don't think anyone saw this coming, did they?
Yeah, 11-3, 4-1 in the conference.
Well, when's the last time they were really had a good season of basketball?
Maybe Cherryville wasn't too happy about that being their only one other team on their conference on their schedule.
Yeah.
That's their non-conference team they decided to play. Last night, Kings Mountain, who improved overall to
11-4.
Yeah, 11-4. Couldn't see that there. Coach Grayson Pierce, the gang last night. Good job. We'll get to the scoring in a minute. He made a good adjustment at halftime. I'll say that they switched to a 1-3-1 defense. It just totally bogged down the Burns defense. But I wanted to get real quick to Appalachian State commit last night. Adrian Delph, 28 points. But this is by our count. We got the points right. By our count now, rebounds and assists, we may have missed one or two. Now, if we missed a rebound, Smoke, this is how many I got him for sure. Mm-hmm. I had him for 16 rebounds. This is the point guard going to Appalachian State. And then he also had 6 assists. So if some of you kind of want to know, well, why is the point guard going to Appalachian State got 16 rebounds? Well, Terry, in high school basketball, you're probably if you're big enough to play point guard at Appalachian State, you're going to be playing the 3, and he's not really playing the 3 and the 4. He's running the point on offense, but on defense, they're running a 1-3-1. You know, with that type of zone, they got 5 people that are 6'1" to 6'4". They ain't got nobody that's really tall, but they're really long. So I mean, this is a long defense, arms wide, stretching out, and tough to get through on that perimeter. So they have the bodies and the athletic ability to play that 1-3-1 kind of the right way. They really need the shot blocker to make it work that well. But the team's playing so good, and it does telling you guys about the scores. Halftime last night, 39-35. Burns had cut the lead to 4. They had missed about 10 free throws. They had about 10 fouls in the first half, so they had given Kings Mountain 10 free throws. All in all, Burns could have been leading that game at halftime. It was 39-34. Now, the last time they played, Kings Mountain won by 53. Burns only scored 44 points the last time they played, so at halftime last night, they're sitting at 39, Terry. They finished with how many, Terry?
42.
Oh. No, they had 35 at halftime. Sorry.
That's what I'm
35
saying,
at halftime.
35.
Had 7 points in the second half.
The whole second half.
2 in the third quarter, 5 in the fourth quarter. And as soon as they went to that defense and Burns was not attacking the way that Burns is very young. And they all look so young out there. And this Kings Mountain squad is a squad. So, you know, everyone thought, wow, last time it's 53. And, you know, at halftime here, they're down 5, 39-34. 35, and the Burns folks are pumped. They might be pulling off an upset.
Didn't
I was
expect
scared.
this.
I scared Grayson Pierce was going to walk by and just slap me because coach for Kings Mountain, because they think that we're his kryptonite. Every time we show up, they play bad. I'm sitting there thinking, oh God, I wonder if he's blaming us here in the locker room. And then they went to a 1-3-1 defense and just shut it down, 21-2. Now here's how bad it got. Once they got up that big. We had a discussion with Alan Ford at halftime. We was talking about the game and everything, and then we started talking about some of the calls and a lot of ticky-tack fouls, Terry. Like, for example, there was a foul. The kid, like I said, Burns had 2 points, right, in the whole third quarter. With about 60 seconds left, they hit a three. Waved off because the ref called a foul in the post on the defense. On a post guy trying to post up. So they only had 2 points the whole third quarter, and this ref calls it off a way ball foul while the guy's about to shoot a three.
He's got his position to
drains
cover.
The three. Drains the three, and they call it off. So the one shot would have been more points than they had the whole quarter. And it was a lot of calls like that. I mean, say with the point guard, would drive to the top of the key, but he would stop before the free throw line and pass it, and they would call a foul while he was passing it to somebody, and they would catch it, and there's nothing happened. There was a little bump here, maybe a slap here, but they still got the pass off. That it didn't affect the play. There was a lot of those type calls. Like I said, it was. I think Burns had 8 or 9 fouls before Kings Mountain had any, and there was a lot really chippy, a lot of pushing. One guy didn't call. I don't know if he blew his whistle, but twice all night. The other guy. He's this morning got a box of Halls swallowing because he blew his whistle all night last night. And the other guy is kind of in the middle. So I guess they got a nice little team there. One guy don't do nothing. The other guy does a little bit of everything. And the other guy does way too much. And just it was a whistle fest there for a while. But there in the third quarter, it was tough there for Kings Mountain. But Adrian Dale, I want to congratulate him. He also last night, Terry, scored his 2,000th point.
Yeah.
Last night, 2,000th point. They stopped the game, gave him a ball, and I'm like, I don't even know if I got to 500. I wonder what that feels like. 2,000 point. Congratulated him, and told him he's ready to be in the Mountaineer again, unless somebody bigger, I guess, maybe comes in and swoops in, or is he officially signed with them, or is it just a committee?
I don't know.
I can't remember what the exact official that he's done, but
hey,
man,
App's got a good one.
I'm telling you, man, handles the ball well. It's one of the way he dribbles. It's not as high as Ed Cota, but the way he's got control of the ball like Ed Cota. You know what I mean? Like it's not coming out like he's got control. There's nothing fancy. He can dribble fancy. Now don't get me wrong, but he don't really try to dribble fancy. It's really really controlled. Really, if you Gabe DeVoe fans, kind of like that. You got to get out and see Adrian Delph, a really good player. Zeke Littlejohn played well last night. He had a bunch of rebounds and assists. He probably had close to a triple double. And also Eli and Kobe Pacehour, those fellas chipped in a lot. Eli Pacehour was all over the court last night, block shots, rebounds, and such. I guess that's all I got. Y'all got any other news and notes on that?
No, all the other ones.
We've got.
Well, I would like to mention that Dax Hollifield will be playing in the U.S. Army All-American game today. I saw he's been representing him and Coach Ware down in San Antonio right now. For the big game today. I think you can catch that on NBC, I believe is when it comes on at about 1 o'clock. So if Dax Hollifield should be playing, so pretty cool to see. Did
Shelby play last night?
I don't know.
They played on the 3rd.
I was about to say.
They beat Chase like 93-29.
Is that all?
South Point won last night 58-52. And if you go to girls action now, the Big South 3A, Ashbrook beat Stuart Kramer 64-43. It was North Gaston over Crest 60-37, Kings Mountain over Burns 59-42, and Forest View over Hunter Huss 65-49 in girls action.
All right, that'll do it. Send us to our first break. We've got NBA action to talk about, and then Terry, we've got 4 NFL playoff games to preview, and an SEC championship to preview, and we'll talk about the national champion UCF Knights.
And we also got a lot of coaching changes to talk about.
Yeah, and I want to throw one more thing out there as we was mentioning about the girls. Congratulations to Ashbrook so far this year, 5-0 in the conference, 14-0 overall.
Shoo. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Today, more and more people are shopping and getting their information online. Here at KTC Broadcasting, we're making our websites easier for you to find out what you're looking for. At KTCBroadcasting.com, you can listen to all 3 of our radio stations, plus watch live video of high school sports, American Legion Baseball, Christmas parades, and other special events. At WhatsUpShopper.com, you'll find all kinds of deals from our local merchants. Shop our eBay store, plus swap shop items, along with community and church events and our local news. And at LincolnCounty.com, you'll find all the information you need concerning Lincoln County, from local businesses to government to school information, even today's local weather forecast. So click on and enjoy. That's KTCBroadcasting.com, thewhatsupshopper.com, and LincolnCounty.com. The future is today.
The tradition. Every day I get to put those 4 letters across my chest.
The Blue Devils have scaled basketball's tallest mountain for the 5th time.
Get passion.
Pulls up for the 3. Got it!
All that matters is winning games. That's what Duke is built on.
Give it go. And he dunks it home.
This is Duke basketball.
Are we going to make some noise this year? Look away for the 2-hand check.
Comes free from 3 and buries it dead on. Follow the Blue Devils all season long on your home for Duke basketball.
Duke, North Carolina, and Clemson basketball. Right here on the Boss in Carolina Country and online at KTCBroadcasting.com.
Tee it up and let it fly at the Crowders Mountain Golf Course, voted Gaston County's best course. Ride and play Monday through Friday for just $28. Play and ride after 12 for $25. On the weekends and holidays, play and ride for $38 and afternoon for only $28. Seniors 55 and older play and ride Monday through Friday for $25. And Monday is Ladies' Day. Ladies, play and ride on Mondays for $18. The Crowders Mountain Golf Course, located on 255 Lincoln Academy Road in Gastonia.
Basketball Jones, I got a basketball Jones, I got a basketball Jones, ooh baby, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It was warm in here when I first come in here.
I got basketball Jones, oh baby, ooh. Did that sound good, Jock? She says it sounded good. Smoke my serenading you. We're getting cold in here. Calvin's listening. I think the heat went off. It's down to 64. It was set on 72. It's already down to 64, Terry. By the end of the show, we're going to start a fire or something going on. Welcome back to Saturday Sports Talk, brought to you by Campers Inn of Kings Mountain, out there right off 85 in Kings Mountain, behind the McDonald's over there near the Waffle House and all kinds of other little places over there. If that gives you a little heads up on where there's 2 McDonald's. Don't go to the wrong one. I'm talking about the one over there near 85, not downtown. NBA, Terry and Smoke, last night or this morning, the Hornets won.
Yeah.
Is that not the silliest thing? Like, think about this. This is how insignificant Charlotte is as an NBA city or value to the TV network ratings, that when they're playing in LA, they just play at 11 o'clock at night on the East Coast because it doesn't even matter if we watch. They got enough viewers in LA.
Well, I mean, when you're playing like they have been, which they have played
11
better,
o'clock.
Smoke, but how many people stayed up and watched that? Now, if we
I did, actually.
I did. I'm like, I got to get some sleep.
Wrong.
I was switching between that, Ancient Aliens, and Jurassic World. So I had a 3-way finger flip going on right there.
See, it's at least for me. I at least watched them play the Kings, and I watched them play the Warriors. So I watched half of the. Actually, I watched them play the Clippers, but then again, that game was at 7 o'clock because it was on New Year's Eve. So I've watched 3 of the 4 games during the West Coast trip. So credit to me.
Yeah, the whole TV times is just, it's amazing, isn't it, Terry? Like in how much that has changed. Like when we watch things is because of just because of the TV ratings. TV runs all. These are nothing but TV shows. It's the TV show with a basketball game involved, and our TV show with a football game. These are TV shows, and they put them at the times with the most viewers. Instead, they try to get that West Coast audience in, and they don't give They don't give a rat's, but you know what about us on the East Coast on some of this stuff at all. Especially when North Carolina on the West Coast is playing that late. You know, the Tar Heels, you got the whole state here. Yeah, guys, play a little bit earlier in the day.
Well, then again, you know, the West Coast has to deal with this stuff while they're at work sometimes. So.
Oh, they do.
They got poor guys have jobs.
They can't watch the game at work. So.
Like, yeah, there's no way to watch on the internet or anything. People don't watch it.
Hey, those bosses might be walking around the rooms and they'll
go around every school in North Carolina during the ACC tournament and see what's going on.
That's North Carolina. That's different. You know,
yeah,
that's
right.
such a Southern thing to bring it. You know, they used to bring out the TV, wheeled out like, here's the ACC tournament. Let's watch the last the first game here between Virginia Tech and so and so
on the cart. Kids today don't know about that cart. Charlotte Hornets, 15 games behind Terry Celtics. They're only 5 games out of last in the East, Smoke.
And they're 5 games out of 8th place.
Just been a weird year for the guys. The road record is just horrendous. Although they've beat Golden State on the road and now the Los Angeles Lakers on the road. But besides that, they're 3-13 on the road. I mean, explain some of that. Defense is probably the biggest key, 106 a game.
Defense has gotten better, though, for this road trip.
They're -1. They're scoring 105 and giving up 106 a game.
It's all about defense. Look at that defense for them Celtics.
There's only 2 teams in the NBA giving up less than 100 a game. Brad Stevens, Boston Celtics, and the San Antonio Spurs. Now,
that
Terry,
does not surprise me.
Can the Celtics beat the Cavaliers in the playoffs?
I think they can. And
is this the year?
And the reason being is this. Cleveland does not have Kyrie Irving, a guy that's going to dictate. And they brought Isaiah Thomas back. He finally comes back for his first game. Had a decent game back for Cleveland. But then the very next night you're playing Boston, they decide to rest him. I did not quite understand that. The young man never even got to play. I mean, you're going back to Boston. You think that he at least get on the court a little, but they decided to rest him. It did him no good because Boston held him to a season low of 88 points, and then Boston turns around last night, holds Minnesota to a season low of 84. Boston's going to play defense. It's if they can get their offense or working and scoring. Boston has got guys on the court at this time that can take anybody they're playing to the hole. They might not be bigger than them, but they're faster than them. And when you have that on defense, quickness means a lot, and Boston's defense is very tough right now.
I mean, yeah, Boston's defense is very tough, and that's crazy because, you know, they got rid of Avery Bradley, who was their best defensive player. They brought in Jason Tatum and they brought in as well, you know, continuing Jaylen Brown to impress and improve. But, you know, you lose Gordon Hayward within the first few minutes of the season, and this team has just gotten off to a terrific start. Now, I mean, I could see it. I wouldn't be shocked if Boston beat Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals because I think unless some miracle happens and Toronto or Washington upsets one of the 2 teams, we're going to see these 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know. I think it's going to go down to at least 6 or 7 games. It's not going to be as lopsided as it was last year. I think a lot of it comes down to who is going to help. You know, is someone going to unsung hero going to show up and take over the series for Cleveland? That like Isaiah Thomas or Kevin Love, or you know, because we know LeBron's going to show up. It's just who else is going to show up and help him out to get him over the hump? And I think a lot of that has to be on Isaiah Thomas, but he's not 100% healthy, and they've been very cautious with him, as you should be, because your other point guard is the walking skeleton known as Derrick Rose.
Yeah, and when they played Cleveland the other night, and I know if Tom's listening, I mean, Kyle Korver, he was the guy. I mean, every time he had turned around, he'd hit a 3, then hit another 3, then hit another 3. And I'm like, my Lord, somebody get on him. But he's a good shooter. He's a spot shooter coming off of picks and stuff like that. And, I mean, he can knock them down if he's hot. But can he do that all year long, though? He's not been known to do that all year long. He's going to have a good game, then he's going to have a bad game. But, you know, LeBron's going to have his team there. I'm never going to go against him. He's the best player that's in the NBA. And will they figure it out? Yeah, but he's going to have some help. And can Isaiah be the guy to come back? I was very, and Smoke, this is me, I was really didn't quite understand you bring Isaiah back, he plays one game, and then the very next game you setting him out to rest.
You don't want him to go back through the full schedule already. That's probably
but
what
you
it is.
just limited his time. I mean, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so he goes from 20-some minutes, maybe the next night, down to 15 or something. But he's got to be back on the court. I don't think he's doing himself any good by setting back down again.
They don't want to risk him playing 2 straight games and then him getting hurt because, I mean, he has a back injury. That's pretty serious for any basketball player. And then to put on that, he's only 5'9", and, you know, they got to bring him back slowly, and that's what they're doing right now. I mean, you don't care about what's happening in January as long as you can have the guy in mid to late April, early May, and June. I mean, that's all you're worried about if you're Cleveland right now. And they don't care what seed they are. They're right now the 3 seed. They don't care what seed they are as long as they're in the fight by April and at least have home court advantage. They should be fine, and they should make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Toronto's not gonna do anything, I don't think, in the playoffs because they just seem to. They seem to disappear in the playoffs. Wizards aren't going to do much. Heat, no. Bucks, I feel like no. Detroit, no. Philly, if they make it, no. Those are the teams right now. It's Boston and Cleveland. We already know who the Eastern Conference Final is. Now the Western Conference Final is a little different. It's going to be Golden State against either San Antonio, Houston, or some other team I'm not naming at this time. But Eastern Conference, we already know what it's going to be unless some miracle happens. Yeah,
and as I'm looking at you're speaking of Detroit, and they are 20-17, but last night they got blown out. And, you know, coach was not happy with it at all. He was even said, hey, was just outplayed the whole game. I mean, that's just how he come out and said it. But you speak of Milwaukee can give somebody a run. Miami Heat, I do not think so. Washington can, as long as Wall's playing well.
I think,
mean, you know,
I think, honestly, this Milwaukee team should be better, but I feel like they might need to make a coaching change because I feel like they should be a whole lot better, but Jason Kidd, I think, might be getting in the way of that. And I don't think he's the best coach for that team, honestly.
You think Tyler Lue better?
No, I'm not saying that, but
no, LeBron.
But when you have LeBron on the team,
yeah, LeBron's the better coach. Yes.
Well, I mean, maybe Milwaukee's roster maybe is a little bit overrated. Giannis, you know, he might not be as well equipped as say LeBron in the gang, or
well, he's getting there. He's still pretty raw, but I mean, just the stuff he does already is just amazing.
I see one other basketball player on that roster.
Eric Bledsoe?
Yep.
Chris Middleton?
No. Malcolm Brogdon's not bad.
No.
Well, and they're waiting to get Jabari
Those guys
Parker.
ain't beating LeBron in the gang or the Celtics. Just looking at the names.
No, I'm not saying
I
that.
agree
But
with
they should be they should be higher than the 6 or 7
Well, that's what I'm
seed
saying,
right now.
Smo. Don't. It's not. Jason Kidd, easy on Jason Kidd. He's a pretty smart fella, and I'm sure he can't make the shots for them.
Maybe they got the same problem that Charlotte's got, because when I look down through there and I see John Henson making about $12 million a year.
No, they're better. They're better. They're better. They're in a better spot.
My goodness.
Well, Middleton's averaging 20 a game, so in Bledsoe 18, so they ain't that bad. Brogdon at 13, but other than that, it's a
John Henson 8.4.
He's fifth on the team.
8.4, making almost $12 million a year.
Greg Monroe's. You want to know who's robbing people?
Come on.
Yeah, that deal.
Greg Monroe's the one that's robbing.
That deal
people.
is still looking
hey,
bad.
John Henson's a value compared to what they're paying Monroe. I was saying Greg Olson, wasn't I? Greg Monroe. Monroe 6.8 points a game. Terry. He's making about almost twice as much as John Henson.
Yeah, he's stuck in he's playing a post-up game in today's NBA.
Henson's leading the league in.
No, Henson's played pretty well this year.
I mean, he's leading the team in blocks, not the league. He's leading the team in blocks.
Look, Henson's a good guy to get off the bench.
Oh yeah. But that's what I'm saying, Smoke. Their best player. He's got Giannis is leading the team in points, rebounds, and assists, and he's not really a shooter. And
not yet.
Not yet. But it's not. I don't think it's a Jason Kidd problem. I think it's just a roster problem. You got to find the right fits in a lot of these places. I've lost the standings.
Well, and I will say too, Jabari Parker has been a big part of that playing, and he's
has
been
not
hurt.
panned out.
Yeah, he's been hurt, and he hasn't been able to stay on the court. When he's on the court, he's really good, but he should be coming back next month from his injury from last year.
I can't believe Miami's that high right now, but I can see Philly there, but Miami being that high is weird.
I'll say this right here: these last 2 years have shown that how good of a coach Eric Spoelstra is.
Yeah,
because people said, he's riding LeBron, but these last 2 years he's had literally hardly anything really to coach minus Hassan Whiteside and Goran Dragic, but he's been overachieving with a lot of good role players and has been doing a good job. So, I mean, I would love to have a guy like Eric Spoelstra, coach my team if it had to be a one-game scenario.
The most points in the East right now, Terry, is the Toronto Raptors guys. DeMar DeRozan has improved his three-point shooting by about 5-6% this year. So that may be a little game changer there for Toronto. You got Serge Ibaka down low, playing defense and stuff. They've got the highest differential in the East, point differential at 8.1. They're only 2.5 behind Boston. What makes Boston, I think, dangerous, and these teams are going to be what's going to knock off LeBron and the gang is you got to remember, what is LeBron's game? It's not really above the rim high flying. It's power through, kind of get room for my shot, putting it in off the glass and stuff, and he's not pulling jumpers, and he gets hot. He can get hot and hit a bunch of shots. What I'm saying is, a lot of times, like say when Kobe and Michael, when you're guarding them, you force them to a spot to get a worse shot than whatever they could get any otherwise. With LeBron throughout his career, if you get to the spot first, he's going to pass it. So as he gets older, these guys are going to be 22, 23, 25 and more athletic in the same age. Your Celtics got two guys that can guard him pretty well with Jaylen Brown and Tatum that can match him athletically. And that's why Milwaukee gives them problems, because Giannis can give LeBron problems. When they force LeBron to pass the ball, now you're playing against Kevin Love and J.R. Smith and everybody else, and it's a lot better to deal with. And them having depth, and if y'all get Gordon Hayward back, it's going to make a big. It's going to make a really
this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they've got the bodies that can D up with LeBron. And I'm not saying they're going to shut him down. You just need to have. He's one of those players you got to wear him down just because he likes to pass and he's willing to pass. You got to make that your strength by putting those long arms on him and throwing double teams at him. Get the ball out of his hands if he wants to pass it. We were watching. Me and Andre the other night was watching a Jordan documentary, and then we saw watching other highlights and stuff, talking about how I just said how. Jordan, if you force him you try to force him to a different spot to get a bad shot, because he's going to take the shot no matter what. Instead, LeBron, he's going to pass it. That's what I'm saying. When you guys got those wings, I don't know if Toronto can do it. Washington's, they rely a lot on the John Wall stuff and Bradley Beal offensively. I don't know if they can D up, but I think Milwaukee's got a chance because Giannis is out there to knock off LeBron. I think Boston does because of your wing play.
Well, and Boston last
Kyrie
night
really wants to beat them too.
Oh, yeah, and Boston last night when they were making changes, it was Tatum coming in, just like you said, for Brown. I mean, those were the swaps that you're making. Well, you never lost anything by either one of them being in the game. It's all the same.
And the old adage here, you're going up against a center that's really good, like say Shaq. You can't guard Shaq, or even if you don't have a premier center. What was the strategy? I might not have Shaq, but I got 24 fouls over here on the bench, right?
That's exactly what you did.
The more bodies you run at LeBron, and he's not a good free throw shooter. So if you guys, you get 3 or 4 wings, and Milwaukee's length, that's what helps them in a matchup with them. Right now, Milwaukee be playing Cleveland in the first round. That's not what Cleveland wants. I think Cleveland will blow Washington, Miami, Detroit, all of them off the floor. They don't want Milwaukee, they don't want Boston in the series because they're the ones that's going to give LeBron trouble, which is going to force the other guys to make shots. All right, real quick in the West, Golden State, Houston, San Antonio, Minnesota. The last time they made the playoffs was 2004.
That was with Garnett and Sam Cassell.
Kevin Garnett was the MVP. The hottest phone on the market was the flip.
Netflix. Nextel.
It flipped up and it was like a talk, some type of talk.
Anyway,
Nextel. So Minnesota has not been in the playoffs since then. No Twitter, no Facebook. I don't know if Facebook had started by then.
I think was maybe
1 year. I think into Facebook when Minnesota. So the internet has barely known the Minnesota Timberwolves. The internet doesn't even know the Buffalo Bills exist as far as playoffs wise. But they barely have heard of Minnesota. Real quick on another note, Jordan in his 15th year played 37 minutes, and LeBron is this year playing 37 minutes. But LeBron's leading the league in minutes. When Jordan did that, he was 35th in the league. So every other team had somebody playing. This was when he was on the Wizards. Mm-hmm. Every other team in the league had people playing more minutes than LeBron is right now. So when they talk about the minutes, these people today, like Terry was talking about earlier, why is he resting?
Yeah.
You know, LeBron will be 35th in the league if he played then in minutes. Now he's leading the league in minutes.
Oh, I bet you, though, when it comes to playoffs, he's playing at least 40 every
Yeah,
game.
and they need to be. I don't understand why they take. You know, if you play 37 minutes, you're taking a whole quarter off.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're taking a whole quarter off of playing, and that's the guy that's leading in minutes. Wow. They make some good money in the NBA. Guaranteed contracts, too. I mean, look at the West. I mean, East real quick. There's only 5 teams with a plus-minus scoring. There's 15 teams in the East. 5 of them plus. Look in the West.
Everyone in the West
team in the
that's in the
playoffs has a plus-minus point differential. All right, when we come back, it's time to talk SEC championship and the UCF. Is it the Golden Knights or just
the Golden Knights? Golden Knights.
I knew the hockey team was the Golden Knights. I didn't want to.
You're thinking Vegas.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to make.
Are they the national champions?
Yes.
That's what we're going to say.
Yes. Yes. They're saying it. We'll be back in just a few minutes. KTCBroadcasting.com.
The winter rates and hours are now in effect at the Deerbrook Golf Course on Highway 180 North in Shelby. Play and ride Monday through Friday for just $33, or after 12 p.m. for just $28. Play and ride weekends for $42, or afternoons for $35. Seniors, you can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $28. Call for your tee time at 704-482-4653, or visit their website at DeerbrookGolfClub.com. The Deerbrook Golf Club, the friendly golf club.
If bowling's your game, head to George Pappas Liberty Lanes in Gastonia. At Liberty Lanes in Gastonia, you'll find 32 lanes, 16 with bumpers for small children. Liberty Lanes is a smoke-free facility with a full snack bar and game room with pool tables, plus a pro shop too, providing bowlers of all skill levels with a fun-filled environment for both league and open bowling. That's George Pappas Liberty Lanes, Highway 321 South, Gastonia.
All that ride, jump in the fire, fire too hot, jump in the pot, pot too black, jump in the crack, crack too high, jump in the sky, sky too blue, jump in canoe, canoe too shallow, jump in the towel, towel too soft, jump in the loft, loft too rotten, jump in the cotton, cotton too white.
The backup heater's broke, Smoke.
Oh, man, we're really.
we got a little backup radiator here, about to crank it up. One of our booties up here across the back, and it's broke too. So we're just all SOL here on Campers Inn Saturday Sports Talk. Maybe we get somebody over at Campers Inn and run us a heater over here in this next hour.
I just got to think we got one more hour. More hour.
If you keep moving in your chair, you'll keep your booty warm. So you just keep rocking, Smoke. Just keep rocking over there. Let's see. Coming up, we've had our bowl season's over, right?
Mm.
We got a play-in game Monday. We're playing for the split national championship. University of Central Florida has already claimed their half of the national championship, went undefeated. They beat Auburn, who beat both these teams that are playing Monday.
Yes.
Yes.
And Central Florida went undefeated. So as far as I see, they are the national champions. Guys, got any arguments? Are we ready to move on to the next topic?
Here's my problem with all these other ADs that are getting mad at Danny White. And
you only get mad if somebody's making a good point.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You know, people are saying, "Oh, we'll schedule these better opponents." They don't schedule them right after the season ends. They schedule them about 3 or 4 years out.
Yes, they do.
Now, of course, 2 years ago, UCF went winless. But then again, you got to remember 3 years ago when they were probably making these schedules in advance, they just came off of a Tostitos Fiesta Bowl win.
UCF beat 8 top 50 teams this year. Only Clemson beat more.
Yeah.
They beat 9. So UCF, that's 8 top 50 teams. Clemson beat 9. So it's not like UCF said, we are scheduling patsies, because Florida State didn't end up in the top. Are they in the top 50?
No, not now. They shouldn't even played in the bowl
Are they
game.
in the top 50? So that don't even count for Clemson's thing. So you don't know, like y'all just said, the scheduling. You don't know. You don't know 3 and 4 years down the road. UCF beat 8 top 50 teams. Clemson beat Florida State, and Florida State isn't even on the list, even in the top 50. And then Clemson, some people, and I wanted to argue, remember we named all these 4? Clemson was my weak link because they lost to Louisville. They had the worst loss of everybody.
Syracuse.
Had the worst. Yeah, God dang, I cannot get that right. They lost to Syracuse. And they're not even the best orange team in the ACC. And then when the standings came out, I assumed they were going to be like, because Georgia was one the whole time.
Yeah, they was.
Lost one game. That team got
On the road.
on the road. That team got beat. Or they beat that
They-
team.
they beat that team.
So they beat that team back. So I'm like, well, that means they're number one then, right? And they come out at 3. And Clemson jumps up to 1. How? I don't know. I never will know.
Well,
and I'm not saying Clemson didn't deserve to be. I
No,
thought
they
were.
deserved,
I
yeah.
thought Georgia should have been 1, and then Oklahoma 2.
But here's the thing,
They didn't want Georgia, Alabama, I guess, in the first round. I don't know.
My problem was, people say, oh, the strength of schedule for UCF is 77th. I'm like, all right, if you switch, let's just say for a moment, UCF finished year 12-1. They had the same record.
You ain't got to do all that, Smoke. You got to say, look, guys, who's playing in Monday's game?
Alabama and Georgia.
Auburn beat them, and we beat Auburn, and we're undefeated.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. If they had played this game like in middle October and UCF had beat Auburn, the whole scenario would have changed. They'd have said this team is a lot better than what we think.
Yeah.
And they would have jumped, and you know as much as I do, they would have jumped. Instead of number 12, they would have been at least up to number 6, maybe number 5. They might not have stuck them in that Final Four, but they'd have been up there close.
And that's the problem because you put the team. If the team's undefeated, they have to go in. In my opinion, at this point, it's ridiculous that they say, "Well, look at the strength of schedule." When you put in teams, I mean, when you put in Alabama, who, I mean, you won't even. We already know it's going to be about 20-25 teams that really have a legitimate shot. They're going to play their favorites. When you have people
Think about
involved
putting in Alabama
making opinions.
Smoke. Well, it's 13. You're right. It's 13 people who picked this up.
Yeah.
It's only 13 people. So everything that we argue about and want to talk about, it doesn't matter. It's all about them 13 people in that room. Now, as far as, say, Alabama, you let Alabama in, right? They didn't win their division. They didn't even win their conference. They didn't even get in their division. They didn't even get in the conference championship game. So if you look at it that way, deserving instead of I think they're the best, here's how many teams Alabama jumped. So you got 3 teams. You got Clemson in, Oklahoma in, and Georgia in, the 3 champions of their conferences. Well, there are 7 other teams that made the conference championship that Alabama jumped over, and UCF. 8 teams you chose Alabama over that Alabama was less deserving. If you go by deserving, not who I think is best, because that's what one of the guys on the committee said. Did you see that Jack Wagon? This was his exact. I've been watching football for 35 years. I think I know what I'm talking about. Well, the rest of us have too.
Yes.
And I remember one of the most annoying things was when they were arguing Ohio State and Alabama, because if Alabama didn't get in, it was going to be Ohio State. Booker McFarland had the worst thing ever. He's like, well, Alabama played Mercer. I'm like, shut up. Mercer wasn't even that good. Mercer was about 500. And yes, I know they beat Western Carolina, but dadgummit, Mercer was about a 500 team in FCS play. Shut up, Booger McFarland.
They shouldn't even be playing
I mean, if these schools are actually so confident they could beat ECF, schedule them. Yeah. It's not that hard. Put up or shut up. It's not that hard to schedule them. If you're that confident, which, honestly, if Alabama played the UCF, yes, I would think they'd beat them. But obviously they're scared to play them for some reason because they're not scheduling them.
And now take UCF. What they're going to do, Frost and all of them, they're talking about $200,000 bonus because to them they won a national title because you're undefeated, and they're going to give all their coaches bonuses
that are at Nebraska now.
Yeah, that have went to Nebraska. But, are they going to do that? I mean, they are stepping up like they think they should be up there. And, and that's the only thing that bothers me because they undefeated and nobody – I mean, we should be having like Alabama and Georgia play now, and the winner of that play UCF.
Honest to goodness, instead of having the playoff, if you're not going to do 8 teams in and let everybody have a fair chance of getting in, I almost like it better. And see what you guys think. I almost like it better if you went ahead and played all the bowl season out, voted on January 2nd, then you get your top 2 teams, and then 2 weeks later play a national championship game.
UCF still wouldn't make it.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Right now,
they wouldn't make it if you did the top 8.
Who would be in it? Well.
See, there's where the problem comes in. I think you've got to go to 16. I know they keep saying now, number 8's coming quick.
No, what they got to do is they got to have write-in rules. They got to have put-in-place rules like the NFL.
You got to have rules, exactly. You have to have exact rules, not 13 people on a committee making up whatever they
You're
want.
gonna have
But you know what?
biases coming in and everything.
But what they're going to tell you is this. They're going to say, well, in college basketball, we take so many teams, and your national champion might not have won their conference.
Well, you all get automatic, at least in NCAA tournament,
that's
you
what's
get
probably gonna
automatic
happen here.
bids. You at least get automatic bids in your conference. In this, you don't even get automatic bids. We've seen conference champions in the Big Ten not even make it the last 2 years. The last year, they put in a team that got blown out 38-0. This year, they put out the team that won their conference.
The last 2 years, the Big Ten conference champion, and you could argue the Big Ten is the best conference in America. The last 2 years, the Big Ten conference champion has been not made the playoffs, and a third-place team in a conference has made it over them. Not a team that won another conference. That's what's so silly about all this. There's 5 power conferences. So if you're telling me that you're going to put in Alabama over one of the other conference champions, you're telling me there is no way on God's green earth that UCF would ever have a chance of getting in that.
And that's the
Right?
problem. That's the problem.
If you're putting a third-place team in over 3 other Power 5 conference champions, think of it. No, 2 other, because there's 3 other in there. 2 Power Conference champions didn't get in, and then 7 other Power Conference championship game attendees didn't get in, and then you got.
Okay, here's your problem. Let's say you're looking down through here. Number 8 on our list is USC. If you'd say we're going to match them up, but before you knew that UCF would beat Auburn, would you say that UCF was better than USC? Half the people in America, 80%, 75%, would say no way.
See, that's the problem of college football. You can't do that. Because think about, okay, who's the best team in the NFL?
Patriots.
Yeah.
Who's second best?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Who's third best?
Minnesota.
Well, if you'd go this year, yeah. If you'd go just
who's fourth best?
I had to put Dallas in here soon.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm saying at some point, y'all guys, we're doing the first 3 are what you guys think everybody else would say. But then once y'all get to 3 and 4, y'all are starting to think about changing different teams, and they're all the same except for just because that's why you can't do. That's why college is so stupid to me, because you got 13 people doing what they think. What, like you just said. Could UCF beat them? Well, we don't know. Put them on the field and find out. Because when you do, what happens?
That's what I'm saying.
Guys, this is basically...
You have to, like Smoke said, you have to have a qualification to get in the playoffs. In the NFL, how do you get in the playoffs? You win the division.
Or you gain yourself a wild card spot.
Or you're one of the top 2 teams. In the Major League Baseball, in the same thing. And in basketball, every other sport in America does it that way except one. And it's because, Terry... These guys on this committee and these presidents have so many millions of dollars coming into their pockets that if they leak 1 second that UCF is just as good as Miami or Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as they say that, they're
going to say players.
There's money coming out of their pockets.
Yeah.
So you got to remember, you got somebody that's not so. You got a millionaire knocking on a billionaire's door, wanting in the party, and they don't want to let him in, even though he's smarter than all of them because they got more money. It's a whole like you play Monopoly. Smartest guy on the block might have home Baltic and Mediterranean, and then these dodos over here Park Place and Boardwalk, and they ain't gonna let him over here, because he's gonna take their money. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, and it's one of them things. I know they keep saying now we're going to be to 8 before you know it, and I'm with that. But still, with the scenario as of today, UCF still would not be in that final 8 to make that.
I don't want 8 if they're still picking teams. I don't want anybody picking any teams except wild cards. You have to have, and honestly, say if you go to 8, I still wouldn't have wild cards because, well, you know why? Because you still got 10 power conference teams that made the conference championship, and any undefeated non-power 5. That would be my rule. You got 10 teams that made the conference. If you guys want to vote for 8 right now, I'd say you put 10 and any undefeated. That includes Notre Dame, I guess, since they don't want to play with anybody.
Well, they got that NBC money.
Is Navy still independent?
No, they're in the American Conference.
Is there who else is independent? Is only
BYU, BYU's independent. Army's still independent.
Okay.
And
so if any of those go undefeated, you get in the room to get voted on. Okay. Then the 10 other teams get in the room to get voted. That's a fate. At 4, it's so easy. At 4, you say the 5 and any other undefeated. And guess what, Alabama? You're not in. and then now they're going to give them a national championship.
Oh, that's what's going to happen. And see, Alabama, and not speaking for them, but this is how they're looking
Should
at
Georgia
it.
have played? Should Georgia have played the SEC championship game?
You know, should they?
When are these teams going to say, I'm not Wisconsin? If Wisconsin refused to play that game and paid the fine, they'd still be undefeated. Would they have not? Would they be in the Final Four? I mean, why should Georgia? Georgia had to play an extra game, and Alabama didn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. But now Georgia is the conference champion.
Yeah, that's
so
what I'm saying.
played an extra game and
you
they
can't even
won.
make the conference championship.
But see, Alabama's going to say the same thing. They're going to say, okay, Georgia, when you went and played and you got beat, you got thumbled. You got beat bad.
That don't matter, though.
You know, but Alabama's going to say, okay, so we had one bad weekend. So what makes us different?
You're in second place. That's what makes you different. You're in second.
Well,
Suck it up. You're in second place. You didn't win your division. You didn't get in the conference championship. And now, think about Georgia. They won their division.
They did.
They played a tough non-conference schedule.
Now, who did Georgia? So Georgia lost to Auburn, right?
Yeah.
Georgia beat Auburn in the SEC championship, right?
Yeah.
Let's reverse this for a minute, guys. What if Auburn would have won that game?
Georgia would not be in it.
Right.
Yeah, Georgia would be out.
But would Alabama have been in?
Yes.
Yes.
Now think about how crazy that is, because Auburn had already beat Alabama, right?
They would have beaten Georgia twice.
Auburn would have beaten Georgia twice. Auburn would have won the SEC championship game. Had to play an extra game because they won their division, which Alabama didn't, and Alabama gets the same reward and puts in the game.
Alabama was going to be in it no matter what. Either
There
way
you
you
go.
looked at it.
There's the secret rule.
They're the only
There's the
team
secret.
that people have ever
The
said
week before when they put
that
them
they
at
could lose
5,
2 games and they'd still make
when they came out at 5, I'm like, there you go, folks. They told you everything
You
they
better
wanted
hope
right
Wisconsin
there.
wins, and they didn't.
They won everything. Yep, everything. Oh my goodness! Think
And-
about how ridiculous that is.
Guys, well, I think these past few years have realized this is just a BCS system with 2 extra teams and humans actually deciding instead of a computer.
You're
It's
right.
still the BCS system, except humans are involved.
All right, picking Monday night.
Georgia, I mean, they're in their home crowd.
There's no way. I mean, it's going to happen, Smoke. I mean, I'm not an Alabama fan up one side and down the other. This has been set up. Here it is, Alabama. Take it.
This is everything that anybody who's not a fan of college football has been saying for years.
Yeah. And when you go back at Nick Saban, has he ever lost assistant coach? No. 11-0. Never lost to an assistant coach that was on his team at any time.
I mean, do y'all not both think that Georgia and Oklahoma are both better than Clemson?
You know.
Yeah, they look better. That was definitely a better game.
And they fed Clemson to Alabama.
Here you go. Nick Saban against Derek Dooley. He was 3-0.
Well, Derek Dooley was not good.
Okay.
Derek Dooley was not good.
I mean, if you just go down Muskrat,
Was he 13-0
I
or
mean,
something
you know,
like that?
he's 11-0.
11-0
Jimbo
former
Fisher,
assistants, former
yeah,
assistants.
he's 11-0. He's never lost to him. And when you come back, and I was trying to compare, I said, okay, who's got the bonus in this? Nick Saban comes in his 11th season. He's 126-20. 86% of the game. He's won 30 conference titles. Alabama has a bowl record of 39, 25-3. Total wins for Alabama all time is 890, 327, 43, 72%. They got 16 national titles, and you say, okay, compare them to Georgia. Georgia with Kirby Smart, only in second seed, 17-5, but they've won 15 conference titles. But they also are in together. They play each other. Their bowl record is better, really, than to me than Alabama. They're 31-19-3. Total wins over that whole period of time, they got 808 wins. 419 losses, 54. They got 2 national titles, 1942, 1980s. When you go to Heisman Trophy winners, and we always talk about Alabama, they always get number 1 picks year after year after year. It's going to Alabama, which Georgia had the best scouting recruit this time. But both of them's only had 2 Heisman Trophy winners in their conference.
By the way, you mentioned that. What was the differential between their first and second national championship for Georgia? 38 years.
Yeah, there you go. 1942 to 1980.
And how many years has it been since their last national championship?
Who?
Georgia.
1980.
So that's 38. 38.
Yeah.
Well, 38, I guess it depends.
38, yeah.
But I guess when you're having to compete against Alabama, maybe that's your problem.
Georgia fans, what Smoke's saying is y'all are good over 38 years.
Yeah, there you go. It's time, Derek.
But Alabama's got 69 consensus All-Americans. Georgia's has 33. And when you compare them, and I start looking at this, and I'm like, it's all set up. Alabama's made it in. Here's you another chance to win it all.
Time out. How many's Georgia got, did you say?
What?
All-Americans.
All-Americans, 33.
How many's Alabama got?
69.
How many play on the field?
Well,
11.
Yeah.
So they both got 11 All-Americans.
No, so I mean,
or 22. They both have 22 All-Americans, Terry.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about in the history of the school.
Oh, I thought
That's
you were
what
talking
I'm
about
talking
this
about.
year.
No, I'm going in the history of the
I thought we were
school.
talking recruiting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got any other notes?
No.
No. Who you picking?
I'm taking Alabama.
Cinnavani says Bulldogs.
Look, just
call the dogs, folks.
You know,
Call the dogs.
If Georgia wins, you can say Appalachian helped them win a national championship
You
by
can
entering
forget
Jacob
it.
Eason.
Georgia, their defense was supposed to show up against Oklahoma. They did in the second half, and that's the reason I sent that out. Defense finally stopped. They went in at halftime. They made adjustments. They come out in the second half, and they stopped everything. If you get behind Alabama, you don't have enough offense to go against Alabama's defense to score that many points. So, I mean, you're not going to score 40-some and win this game.
I don't see how they're going to outrun Alabama.
No, there's no way.
Their rushing attack's pretty good.
It's all there. Nick Saban going to go to 12-0 against former assistants. Get ready,
they're
Tom.
a good running game.
That's
really,
going to happen.
Really, yeah. Is that your strategy going in against the Alabama's defense? Of all the defenses that you're going to try to run
the
into,
same Alabama defense in years past.
They only give up 11 points a game.
It's running.
There you go. They give up 11 points a game. So no, even if it's not the best defense they've ever had, it's only 11 points a game.
So Terry, you're calling for a 14-11 ball game?
I got 24-13, Alabama.
21-17 Georgia.
44-13, Roll Tide. We'll be back in just a few minutes on KTCBroadcasting.com.
KC champion of Kings Mountain is this month's McDonald's WOHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month. KC is the son of Kevin and Cammie Champion. KC plays first base on the Kings Mountain Mountaineer baseball team and has a grade point average of 4.875. His advanced courses include AP U.S. Government, AP Psychology, AP Comparative Government, AP English, and AP English Literature. He is a member of the First Baptist Church of Kings Mountain and is involved in the Murphy's Tour Run and Shriners Barbecue. After graduation, Casey plans to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy or UNC Wilmington. The McDonald's KTC Broadcasting What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for overall achievements in the classroom and overall school and community citizenship.
Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Ink Jet and Toner is here to help. Discount Ink Jet and Toner specializes in refilling ink jet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or more. Discount Ink Jet and Toner, located on 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
For excellence in funeral and cremation services, talk with Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Services in Cherryville, promoting the highest ethical and professional standards while maintaining cost-effective service. Call 704-435-6711 or come and talk with funeral directors John Porter and Hannah Garrett, offering you guidance during one of life's most difficult times. Carpenter Porter Funeral and Cremation Service, 1100 East Main Street in Cherryville, a member of the National and North Carolina Funeral Directors Associations.
The Orange Opportunity Sales Event is underway at Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Come in now and ask about 0% financing for 84 months on select Kubota tractors with a big 6-year warranty. Come on in for all the details and don't miss it. The Orange Opportunity Sales Event underway now at Parker Farm Service, located at 126 Bessie Drive off the Oak Grove Road and Highway 74 bypass in Kings Mountain. Feast your eyes on a Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite, now available at Hendrick Appliance Mattress Center in Shelby. It's the first ever black stainless steel, the new premium color that is as bold as you are. And it's from Whirlpool and Hendrick Appliance and Mattress Center. Yes, care can be messy. That's why the Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite is fingerprint resistant. And it performs as good as it looks and is the perfect touch for any kitchen. So be bold. See the new Whirlpool Black Stainless Steel Suite today at Hendrick Appliance, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby.
And back here on Campers in Sports Talk on a very chilly Saturday morning, the first show we have in 2018, as Kevin finally getting his biscuit in.
Roll Tide.
And now Kevin's now got 2 jackets on. Which,
well, it's cold.
I don't blame you. So,
what I forgot was my drink. But well, good morning, everybody. Campers in Saturday Sports Talk. NFL playoff action to talk about. Final statistical leaders: Tom Brady with the most yards, followed by Phillip Rivers, Matthew Stafford, Drew Brees, and Big Ben. Rushing yards: Kareem Hunt led the NFL, although Todd Gurley
as a rookie.
Good pick, Christian McCaffrey. Le'Veon Bell 3rd, LaShawn McCoy 4th, Mark Ingram 5th. Receiving yards: Antonio Brown 1st, Julio 2nd, Keenan Allen 3rd. Have to remember that one for next year in fantasy. I guess anybody throwing. Well, that's
the problem is, can Keenan stay healthy? Because the last 2 years he's gotten hurt, but this year he stayed healthy, and look what happens.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers. You can always never go wrong with his number 1 receiver. Usually, he's going to sling it around. And Adam Thielen 5th there. Interceptions: Kevin Bird and Darius Slay led the league with 8. Sacks: Chandler Jones with 17. Calais Campbell, DeMarcus Lawrence right behind them in 2nd. Cameron Jordan and Ryan Kerrigan tied for 4th. Leader in tackles this year, 3-way tie: Preston Brown, Joe Sherbert, and Blake Martinez. There's no way all 3 of them had exactly 144 tackles just based on how you give reward.
Oh, yeah, I bet he's in the film room. Coach, that's a tackle right there for me.
As a half, I led the NFL.
I remember some of Ray Lewis's teammates said he was the worst at that. He's like,
that's mine. Like, why? If you care that much.
Hey, well, some of them have incentives on that stuff.
Yeah, they do.
That's what's bad about it.
Yeah, that's what they're probably doing.
Playing for stuff like that. Yeah, you get a certain number, whatever. NFL defenses. Let's talk defense headed into the playoffs real quick. So I was trying to run down I was looking for a heater and a paper. Hey, JP, go find me a What's Up Shopper, brand new What's Up Shopper. Can you hear me, JP? Go find me a What's Up Shopper down the hall. I think there's one on my desk. Or maybe one in that room if you look around in the room you're standing in. Terry might even have
Terry
one.
took it.
Hey, Terry took it. Never mind, JP. Terry stole it. We figured it out. We found it. We caught the tater. His name is Reinhardt. Pick up a copy of this week's What's Up Shopper. On the cover is Andre's beautiful niece, Nakira Bush. Happy New Year's. It's hoop season. Terry, you know who that is?
Not off the top of my head.
I didn't know.
She got her face changed.
I didn't know if you knew the number. No, Terry don't know the roster by heart there. Anyway, Minnesota finished number 1 defense, Jacksonville 2. Chargers, the number 3 defense in the NFL, and didn't make the playoffs. How did that happen with Phillip Rivers in the game?
Doesn't help when you start out like 0-4. Does not help.
I think they had the complete opposite record of games by 7 points. Panthers were 7-1 in games by 7 points or less. I think the Chargers was close to the opposite on that.
Usually that stuff reverses year by year. So if you're good in close games, then you'll not be as good.
Philadelphia 4th, New England 5th, Baltimore 6th, Pittsburgh 7th, Atlanta 8th, Chicago 9th, New Orleans 10th. In the history of the NFL, only 8 times has it happened that you weren't a top 10 defense. Only 5 times has it happened that you weren't a top 12 defense. So, playoff teams in the top 12. Rams at 12. Panthers at 11 squeak in there.
They're tied with New Orleans.
New Orleans at 10. Those 3 teams. Then Atlanta. 4 NFC teams right there off the bat. Pittsburgh at 7, New England at 5, Philadelphia at 4, Jacksonville at 2, and then Minnesota at 1. Guys, every single team in the NFC has a top 12 defense. So according to NFL history, every single team in the NFC could possibly win this Super Bowl. Now the question is, you got to look at the offenses that are going to be matching up against with them, matchups, run game. The matchups, especially on defense, is what matters in the playoffs. Because one play here, one play there, game's over, season's over, and if you're not matched up right or make the right call. In the AFC, it's only Jacksonville Pittsburgh and New England. Are we going to? Are we discounting Philadelphia altogether, or are we giving them a puncher's chance? Because Foles hadn't looked that good, but man, they got the number 4 defense.
Yeah, they got a really good defense, but I mean they
and they are playing at Philly.
But they struggled to beat the Raiders, and it's just like you kind of feel like the team's air was taken out of them once Carson Wentz got hurt. Because it's like, yeah, we're making the playoffs, but I mean, Nick Foles.
Yeah, but the defense has to be the one to lead you, and their defense can lead them.
Yeah, the defense is going to have to.
And they're going to be playing at
turnovers.
home, so I mean, the first round. So
look, they're going to have a shot to win it, because at least they get a break. They got home field advantage no matter what happens if they go to the NFC Championship. But it's just like, I mean, all these other teams in the NFC, they're smelling blood. Blood in the water.
Well, I mean, think about the wild card teams and this weekend. Don't be surprised if the Super Bowl champion or at least the participant comes out of this weekend's games in the NFC, because we talk about Minnesota's number 1 defense all we want, but they got Case Keenum, and he's played well. Maybe he's stepping up into his own, or maybe he is the average quarterback that we've all seen. But with these defenses and as close as it's going to be, I was at the Minnesota Carolina game. What happened in that game? Keenum threw 2 picks?
Yeah.
Almost every time you lose the turnover battle, especially these are going to be some close games, unless something just crazy happens and one team falls apart at some point. But I think a lot of these games are going to be close. It's going to be really competitive this weekend.
I mean, I think that too, and I agree with you completely, Kevin. I could easily see whoever wins one of these wild card games this weekend to possibly, make it to the Super Bowl, at least for the NFC. I mean, people are saying. I understand the Rams aren't really the most experienced team, but then again, were they experienced? I mean, were they experienced in 1999?
Cowboys beat in '92 a 3rd-time Super Bowl team with Emmett's 3rd year, and Troy's 4th year, something like that.
Well, I mean, with the Rams, the year they won the Super Bowl, they didn't really have that much playoff experience. I mean,
the Rams' problem is they changed their uniforms, and the football gods have not been happy about it since. They won the Super Bowl in yellow and blue. And as soon as they go gold, they lose the Super Bowl. They lose a franchise. It just all goes.
Well,
it's St. Louis City. I mean,
and two, with experience as well. I mean, look at the Panthers when they beat the Cowboys. They didn't have the most playoff experience compared to a team like the Cowboys. So
it wasn't even close. I was in that building. I thought the Cowboys were gonna win by 40 in that game, and it was going to be the worst thing ever. And then they go out there choking like dogs, is what they did. Troy Aikman played one of the worst games I've ever seen him play. That was when he had already had a concussion. And he started getting those Danny White happy feet, Terry. You remember that back in the end of Troy's days?
Well, and then Michael Irvin got hurt within the first drive or two.
I think Thomas Davis jumped on him illegally then too, like he did on Romo, and they didn't call it.
I think it was Lamar Lathan that tackled him.
Exactly. So y'all need to learn how to tackle in Carolina. Form tackle. You wrap him up, take him to the ground, you pat him on the butt, you tell him nice job, fella, and then you go back to your huddle. You guys just jump on people's collarbones and all kinds of things. I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway. Let's see. This weekend, Kansas City hosts Tennessee today at 4:20.
Their coach was going to get fired if they lost last week.
Which one?
Tennessee Malarkey. That probably should have happened. That probably should still happen if they want Marcus Mariota to continue to
Terry,
grow.
listen to this. How did Tennessee make playoffs? They're 19th on offense and 17th in defense.
They somehow swept Jacksonville.
And they swept Jacksonville.
Yeah. Tell me how.
That's how they made the playoffs. I mean, that is terrible. Kansas City ranks 6th on offense, 15th on defense, averaging about 10.
It's what Kansas City's going to show up.
But Kansas City lost.
If they're playing at home.
Listen who they lost to. They lost 4 straight games during the season here. Cowboys, Giants, Bills, and Jets. Yeah, 4 straight games. Cowboys, Giants, Bills, and Jets. And that Cowboys was without a Zeke, I think.
No, it was with Zeke.
That was with a Zeke?
Yeah, that was right before the suspension.
Okay, so they got that. They got an excuse with that one.
But the Jets one is...
So who you guys got in this one?
I got Kansas City at home.
It should be Kansas City. Kansas City should win. I think they will win. It's just they haven't won a home playoff game since Joe Montana was their quarterback.
We talk about this all the time. We talk about Cleveland. How many of these teams haven't, what you Smoke just said, haven't replaced a quarterback from the '90s almost. A lot of these teams have.
Well,
you know?
hey, at least the Chiefs had some good teams. They just never won a.
They've
playoff
had
game.
some pretty good.
Yeah,
teams
I mean, they had
over
Trent Green as their quarterback. He was pretty darn good.
They keep ending up with these Alex Smith types, the really decent game, the really good game managers.
Yeah. Trent Green could just not stay healthy. He would get hurt at the worst possible time, and he had some pretty nasty injuries.
I want
to
see Alex Smith in Cleveland next year. Is what I want to see, or Kirk Cousins or Tyrod Taylor, any of them. I don't want to see a rookie. Me and Tom was talking about that last night. It's like, I saw a dumb article. Should Hornets trade Kimba for some draft picks? I'm like, yeah, because the draft picks have worked great since they picked Kimba the last time. Well,
if you get a new personnel guy in.
Let's keep picking quarterbacks because that's worked the last 15 years. You know,
you got to give Andy Reid a lot of credit for Kansas City, though, y'all. I mean, Kansas City was nothing until he comes, and now he's put them back in where they're making the playoffs.
They were in a lull
year after year.
They were in a lull for a while once
he did that at Philadelphia, but can he get over the hump to get him into a Super Bowl for them to win something?
You are right. Once Dick Vermeil retired after the 2005 season, they were kind of in a lull of mediocrity. And, I mean, at least they're making the playoffs consistently. It just feels like they're going to be lamb to the slaughter.
That's him. He's going to make the playoff everywhere he's been. You know, he reminds me a lot of Schottenheimer. He made the playoffs. He won.
Yep.
And that's what he does.
So you guys both going Kansas City today?
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting with John Gruden in the booth. You know, now the Raiders coach calling a game, I guess, for his
I don't think
division.
that matters at all.
I know, but it's just going to be interesting to see how this plays out. This broadcast plays out tonight for ESPN.
Tonight, 8:15, Falcons and Rams. Atlanta comes in the game. The only team in the NFC that made the playoffs last year that came back this year. Now, you guys...
think of that. The only team.
And if I'd have said that before the year, y'all would have told me I've been crazy and I'm Mr. Hot Take over here.
Well, I mean...
Being crazy. And then the Falcons are the only team that made the playoffs.
Well,
and everybody, I guarantee you, we go through. I'd say 90% of people who picked the teams last year. When I said take off 6 teams and take 6 in, every single one of them took the Falcons out of there because the Super Bowl.
I know I did.
The Super Bowl.
I know I did.
The Super Bowl.
I think I kept them as a wild card. If I'm.
Did you? I know I did keep.
Because I felt they were.
I had them in the Saints.
I kind of felt this is how they were going to be. I didn't think it'd be as much like this, but I felt like they're still good enough to be a playoff team because they're so young on defense.
Yeah, I had the Falcons, Saints, Philadelphia Giants is the one I missed in the NFC really bad. I don't think I had the Seahawks. I think I had the Packers though.
See, I think everyone has the Packers.
Yeah. I think I had the Cardinals though instead of the Rams, and everybody got hurt. So, yeah, I did not have the Rams. Did not have
no one saw
Panthers
the Rams
in
coming.
there, and they all got in there. But anyway, let's see. Back to Atlanta, the Falcons. On average, 6 teams. I said that just a second ago. 15th in offense, 8th in defense, with an average of 11.5. And like I said, the problem with them though is that they have to go on the road the whole time in the playoffs. And they're a dome team on the road in the playoffs.
Can LA be too pumped though?
I think LA wins by 25 points. In this. I think they win by more than Alabama beats Georgia by.
Who are you going with? You going with Sarkisian as an offensive coordinator who struggled this year, or you're going with freaking Wade Phillips, one of the greatest defensive coordinators of all time? That's what I look at in the matchup. And look, I mean, Alex Mack, I don't think is 100%. He's going to have to go against Aaron freaking Donald, the top defensive tackle in the league. And with this Rams offense, you got one of the best tackles in the business right now, Andrew Whitworth, future Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. It feels like Atlanta's kind of lipped on into this playoffs, even though they had a convincing win last week. I got LA winning.
No, and I didn't even think they looked that explosive or anything last week. I didn't think they did not impress me. Both the teams looked, sorry last week. If you want to know my really opinion about the Falcons-Panthers game, neither one of them really impressed me at all, and I haven't seen anything from either one of them that says they're going to go to L.A. and beat that Rams team right now.
Well, look, Atlanta has the talent on paper to be a Super Bowl winning team on both sides. This defense has improved a lot over the last year. They're still young, but something's not there.
They're 15th in offense.
Yeah, I think part of it is losing Kyle Shanahan.
It's play call. A lot of it is play calling. You got it's different. A person is calling different plays, whether they're his plays or someone else's plays. You don't know what worked last year, what had worked. Terry?
So you're both taking L.A.?
We're both taking L.A.
Well, I got Atlanta on the road too, but I do have LA to win.
Okay. Rams took week 17 off. Some were saying they were trying to lose and let the Saints take that 3 seed because they actually wanted to just go ahead and host Carolina because they wanted to go through the other part of the playoffs. They didn't want to have to go to Minnesota. They'd rather go to Philly than Minnesota right now. So the Rams didn't play last week anyway. They finished first in offense. Well, they played last week. Their starters didn't. Is what I'm saying. 12th in defense. So they squeak in under the 12 spot. Like every NFC team ended up in the top 12 in defense. So LA though, the number 1 offense. So that's going to make a difference in these playoffs.
And Jimmy GQ still undefeated.
You got 8 teams in the playoffs with the top 12 defense, and then you got the Rams with the number 1 offense. So I think that is going to be a difference.
Yeah. And Gurley will make a difference.
Yes. Nobody was going to want to tackle him in the cold, I would imagine. You know, they want to bring LA to the cold, but be careful what you bring to the cold. Green Bay wanted to bring Michael Vick to the cold one time, and he lit them up.
Well, and they also wanted to bring Colin Kaepernick in the cold, and he rushed for over 200 yards.
Every time they bring a running quarterback to Green Bay in the cold, it ends bad for them. So that's the picks for that. We got to take a break, right, Jock? You gave me the break sign a minute ago. You probably fell asleep since then. You in there? That big screen covers you up. I can't. I got to look at it around the corner. All right, Jock. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and break down tomorrow's games. Buffalo is back, circling the wagons in Saxonville.
Thank you, Baltimore.
The last time Buffalo was in the playoffs,
I probably had
there was barely no internet. And Smoke. When was the last year they were in there? 99. So
it was one of the first days of the new millennium.
You and Jock were in diapers. JP, was you in diapers in 99?
So I was 2. I mean,
JP,
2 years still wear diapers.
Was you in diapers in 1999? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Gosh almighty. Were you partying in 1999 like Prince, or were you in diapers in 1999? I don't even know.
He's somewhere in the middle.
Jeez, why did I even ask?
He was watching Star Wars.
Yeah,
there we go.
Anyway, in 1999, the Buffalo Bills last made the playoffs, and it was the Music City Miracle game.
Yep.
It was still a forward pass.
That sent Tennessee it ended up going to a Super Bowl. And what's ironic about it is the last time the Buffalo was in the playoffs, they played Tennessee, and Tennessee's in the playoffs this year. So they'd both have to win 2 games for them to ever play. But that's what I was hoping for, like a sneaky first-round matchup between 2. I was hoping Tennessee could pull off that division, because if they'd have won the division, it would have been Buffalo and Tennessee. And it's just how ironic would that have been. All right, time for a break. Let's send it off to KTCBroadcasting.com.
Inviting you to join me this week for Country Gold, where we play all your favorites from the 80s and 90s.
Country Gold with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons 1 to 5 on Big O Country, 1590 AM WCSL, and online at KTCBroadcasting.com. Today, more and more people are shopping and getting their information online. Here at KTC Broadcasting, we're making our websites easier for you to find out what you're looking for. At KTCBroadcasting.com, you can listen to all 3 of our radio stations, plus watch live video of high school sports, American Legion Baseball, Christmas parades, and other special events. At WhatsUpShopper.com, you'll find all kinds of deals from our local merchants. Shop our eBay store, plus swap shop items, along with community and church events and our local news. And at LincolnCounty.com, you'll find all the information you need concerning Lincoln County. From local businesses to government to school information, even today's local weather forecast. So click on and enjoy. That's KTCBroadcasting.com, the WhatsUpShopper.com, and LincolnCounty.com. The future is today. At Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation in Cherryville, it's their passion that makes them different. Their goal is to return their rehabilitation residents home as soon as possible. Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation offers 24-hour nursing care, foods prepared on site, private and semi-private accommodations, television and telephone, and even wireless internet. From short-term to long-term care, your care and safety is their top priority. For more information, call and speak with a representative at 704-435-4161 or visit the website at sandstonehealth.com. Carolina Care Health and Rehabilitation, where their passion makes them different.
play, Jock.
I think they're saying who day.
Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Them Panthers gonna beat them Saints, Smokey? We're gonna talk about it in just a second. You listen on there. You go ahead and close that out, Jock. That's the Who Dat dog. Look that up online. That's just hilarious. You ever seen that, Terry?
No, I have not.
They got this. I think it's a beagle, and there's a bunch of Saints fans in a room. It was a couple years back when they did it, and you know, the dog, he barks, and it sounds like he's saying who when he barks. So they saying that back to him. So the dog, every time he barks, they scream that back at him. And he barks back at them. Because I'll show you the video in a minute. It's really funny. They point at him, they go, who? He goes, Dad, who? Saints host the Panthers. They play a third time this year. Sunday, 4:40 on Fox and on KTC Broadcasting. But first, 1 o'clock, Saxonville Jaguars host the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo comes into this game. If you want to know where I'm getting all my news and notes from, I'm getting it from What's Up Shoppers, Kevin Hastings, NFL Power Poll Pick'em Smoke. He's got a lot of good information in here. Like, how in the world did Buffalo make the playoffs, Terry? You know I gave you those Titan stats? They're worse than the Titans. Buffalo ranks 22nd in offense. Made the playoffs. They ranked 18th in defense. Made the playoffs. 9-7. Have not been since the Music City Miracle when Tennessee threw a forward pass. If you ask any Buffalo fan, if you ask any Tennessee fan, it went right down the line by the laces, just right on the line. If you watch that yellow line on TV, they tell you. Well, it's not exact, so you know.
It is.
It is. But anyway, Buffalo, 18th and 22nd. How in the world they even made the playoffs? There's only 12 teams that make the playoffs. Here's how bad it is for Buffalo to get in the playoffs. They needed the Bengals to win. That's how bad it is. You need the Bengals to win to get in the playoffs. But they did.
They did.
And now they're here.
Well,
and now they face, hold on, Smoke, the Jaguars, who are the sole possessors of the number 2 defense and the number 5 offense. That's really good. In fact, it may be the best in the NFL. Actually, it's tied for 3.5 is the best with another team. I think it was the Rams. The Jaguars, 2nd on defense, 5th on offense. But the question is, of everybody's saying, can Blake Bortles make a playoff run? First, all you got to do is beat Buffalo. Terry, what you think?
And that's tough. I mean, Buffalo, like you saying, I just don't think Buffalo.
Are you going to pick the 22nd offense to beat the number 2 defense?
But there's the problem. I don't think their offense can score at Buffalo. I don't think they put any points on the board, and Jacksonville is going to slowly stop them. To me, this will probably be one of the worst beatings Buffalo's had in a while. I don't even think this will be close.
Well, first off, let's get this out of the way here. You know, Buffalo coming into this year, before the season even started, they traded their best defensive back, Ronald Darby, to the Eagles for spare change. They traded Sammy Watkins, their best wide receiver, for spare change. They traded Marcel Darius, their defensive tackle, one of their best defensive players, for spare change to Jacksonville, and they traded for Kelvin Benjamin.
I was about to say they traded a 2nd-round pick for spare change.
Yeah, so I mean, the fact that they made it to the playoffs is a miracle because they were basically it seemed like they were tanking.
And the coach of Jacksonville left them.
Yeah, left them after having a pretty good year.
Yeah. Do you think about this? Do y'all think when Doug Marrone left Buffalo that he thought when he made if and when he made the playoffs in Jacksonville that he'd be playing Buffalo in the first game?
And I look at it
He's so happy this game's not in Buffalo, I'll tell you that.
It would be, well, you'd be freezing off right now. But Jacksonville's actually going to have their stadium filled up for once, for the first time in a decade. You know, the last time they made the playoffs, they had Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor and David Garrard.
They're selling teal hamburger buns and
that
beer.
Looks disgusting.
Oh, that's great. You ever had green eggs and ham?
Yes, I've had green eggs and ham. Yeah. But I just look at it here. Blake Bortles, he's basically playing to get a long-term contract. I mean,
from somebody.
It might
not even be Jacksonville.
It might not even be
Hey,
Jacksonville.
Cleveland. Hello.
I mean, Buffalo's playing with house money here. they shouldn't be here. No one thought they would be here. I mean, and when a team's playing with house money and they got nothing to lose, that's a pretty dangerous team in my eyes.
It is. It is.
And they got so much, they're probably going to be pumped. And, I mean, both teams are coming in with a long playoff drought, but there's something about this Buffalo team, man. I'll pick the Bills. Going with the Bills Mafia.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to smash myself through a
Pick
table.
the Bills?
Yes, I picked the Bills, baby.
God almighty.
They're going to get smashed by New England, but they are going to beat Jacksonville.
I'd pick them and have a better chance against New England than I would Jacksonville. Just because they know them. I got in the paper first round games, Terry. What I did second round, there's a little, there's various factors in the second round I took into equation, but in the first round, my picks, I pretty much looked at how much your team scores and how much you give up. And then how much, and I gave you points for that, and then how much the other team scores, how much you give up. So my scores in the first round, they may be off maybe 1 point because the average was a funny number like 26, and so I gave them 27. And then on home teams, I gave 3 points as well, like Vegas does. So my final scores in the first round ended up with the math. Jacksonville wins 27-14. Chiefs 27-21. Rams 28-21. I think Rams have a chance to blow that one out.
Yeah.
And then I think this could be a blowout if things go wrong. But I got the Saints by 6 over Carolina in New Orleans. This game, it seems to me like both teams want to control the clock, actually. Because the Saints aren't going to mind running the ball. But the Saints would rather try to get to 30. I think, NFL average over the years has been 24. Whoever gets 24 first in this game, I think, is going to get it. Unless, Cam and them, they need big plays, and that New Orleans is susceptible to that. So New Orleans they'll go bend, don't give up anything the whole game, and all of a sudden, big play, and they've give up 14 quick points. Well, that's how the Panthers' whole offense is designed that way. To run the clock, run the clock, and then 2 big plays here and there. And they kept it a little bit close to the second game this year with some special teams plays.
Well, actually, special teams is what hurt them in that game because it was a low snap and Pilardi tried to throw it. It was incomplete. And then the Saints got the ball, and then Peppers had an uncharacteristic 15-yard penalty that helped New Orleans score.
Did they give it to him because of his hair? That's what they should have given him the penalty for.
No.
Julius Peppers.
It wasn't.
They should have given it to him because of his hair. Panthers, Terry, finished the season 12th on offense, 11th in defense. So they're on the edge of both offense and defenses. Here's where this is the craziest stat to me, too. Their scoring margin this year is 2.3 a game, plus 2.3. Their record is 7-1 in games decided by 7 points or less. So if they go 500 in those games,
they don't make it.
They don't make the playoffs. If they go 5-3 in those games, they don't make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. They had to go 7-1 base. They could have went 6-2 and squeaked in, but they really had to go 7-1 in those games, 7 points or less, and they only have a scoring average of margin of 2.3. So they've got a fine line of, hey, we can beat every team in the NFL, or man, we got to play really good to do that. It's all on Kuechly and the guys' defense, of course. That's what they play. Him and Thomas Davis and the gang.
What are the 2 final scores in their games?
The first one was 34-13 in Carolina. That was in week 3. And the second one was like 31-20, if I'm not mistaken.
But New Orleans won both of them.
Yeah, New Orleans won both of them, yeah.
New Orleans won the first one. Smokes right. It was about 20-something points, that first one.
And this was
second one was 31-21
Oh, it was
in
off
New
by
Orleans.
1 point.
Second one was 10 points in New Orleans. The first one in Carolina was by 21 points.
Yeah,
so you're really thinking, I see there's sort of the same situation that we've got with Buffalo going to Jacksonville. Can Carolina's offense produce enough points to keep them in a game?
That's what I'm worried about. That's why I said that 24-point in this game. I don't think both teams are going over 30 or both teams are staying over 20.
No,
I think
New Orleans, that's what I'm saying. New Orleans is going to score 20-something.
First off, they're asking Cam to basically be perfect because you got Devin Funchess and then the Land of Misfit Toys as your wide receiver core. And Jonathan Stewart didn't play enough.
Why don't that second-round pick for next year go out there and run a route?
He's hurt.
For next year's second-round pick. The one you traded your wide receiver for? The invisible guy or the third rounder that's standing over on the sideline, like he can't run a route. Like so, you got Burson out there. Like ain't that what you was about to say?
Yeah, freaking Brenton Burson is our second wide receiver because the one guy who can get open out of this receiving core consistently can't catch the ball, and Russell Shepard. Let's see, Moose Frazier. He's best known for getting in an altercation with Luke Kuechly during training camp. Kalen Clay had a punt return for a touchdown against the Jets, and then he fumbled muffed a punt against New Orleans earlier this year. So, yeah, and we got Devin Funchess, who is still he's good, but he's still pretty raw, and he's got a hurt shoulder. And then you got Greg Olson, who's got that foot injury. That's probably still. I've heard that foot injury can still nag you even after returning from play. So, I mean,
well, you could see it this year that when y'all aren't successful. Because Cam's not, you don't have a passing attack really, except when Olsen is. And I don't think he's healthy at all. He don't look right.
No.
And if they don't, when they were successful and made to the Super Bowl, watching those games, what I would really think was that the offensive coordinator really has a feel of when to call those running plays for Cam, and that's when your offense is dangerous. And that's when we said back then, if Cam could ever complete a slant pass and run that read option with the whole, if they could have ever kept Steve Smith and run slants with him on that read option, that would have been the most dangerous thing in the world because they run it now and you have nothing to be worried about. And Cam still leads the league and was a rushing average, right? And he was second. He was second rushing average. I think.
He freaking led the team in rushing this
year.
Yes,
the quarterback who they drafted a running back 8th, Terry, and the quarterback led the team in rushing. In the NFL.
In 2017.
And another quarterback and another running back they skipped over led the NFL in rushing. So, like, maybe that's why Gettleman got fired.
I don't know, like, the defense, I think, is good enough to win most games. I think that's what goes without saying.
Secondary is the hole in it.
Yeah, the secondary is the hole.
And your other question, here's the thing with the secondary. I don't think it's as bad as it's been. I think it's good. I think it's above average. The problem is they run that nickel when they had Josh Norman there 2 years ago playing the man-to-man on one side, and they had Kuechly and Thomas covering all that other. Now they're 2 years older.
Yeah. Well,
and so that half a step, that's really affected. If the front four has been outstanding, and them rushing the ball, but I think I saw the last 6 weeks of the season, Carolina was dead last in rushing defense. I think it was one of those, is rushing or passing. They were dead last. They said it this morning on I was watching.
They went from 8th in pass defense in the last month to 15th.
So it must have been the pass.
So
dead last the last 6
here's
weeks.
The problem
and now they got Drew Brees.
It's ironic because Steve Wilkes was the defensive backs coach. Now he's the defensive coordinator. He's blitzing so much that it's like, come on, man, you're blitzing so much you're going to give the underneath games to a lot of people, and he's just blitzing just to blitz. And I think he's playing more man-to-man with zone corners, and that's a problem too.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to blitz against Breeze. Breeze will eat him alive.
Well, Breeze. I mean, you got to pick your poison because if you're game planning against Kamara and Ingram, like, dude, there's a freaking Hall of Fame quarterback right there that can easily just gas you within moments. That's the only reason the Saints haven't been in the basement the past few years is because of Drew Brees.
Teams like if I'm defending the Panthers, I mean, without them having a deep threat and a really good wide receiver, I think it's almost like guarding a high school team, right? Where you're worried nothing about the quarterback, what he's going to do. I mean, if I'm New Orleans, I'm going, DBs, y'all man up. I got one spy, and then the rest of them are blitzing because Cam's not accurate enough and quick enough in his throwing and decision making to beat those blitzes on a consistency, and those receivers aren't good enough to beat somebody man to man all day. Go ahead, Smoke.
And Cameron Jordan, all you have to, I mean, you're going against freaking Matt Khalil. Just bull rush him, Get over, get over him. I mean, it's
your two guards didn't give up a sack this season.
And one of them's an All-Pro, and he's going to get paid by someone, if Carolina or not.
Y'all going to pay the Khalil brothers, but not pay the All-Pro. Is that what's about to happen, Smoke?
Pay freaking Matt.
Y'all played the Khalil brothers, $100 million.
Well, hey, Ryan's at least good. Ryan's good, even when he's healthy. He's good. I have no problem with Ryan Khalil. It's Matt Khalil I have a problem with, but it's just, I mean, when game Sunday, when he had a pocket, no one was open. It's especially early on, and when no one was open, and when people were open, the pocket collapsed. that seemed to be the problem. And then by the time the fourth quarter came around, he was forced and frozen. That's what I think.
They started throwing off his back foot
Yeah,
again,
he was
yeah.
forced
Quite
and froze.
often again.
Terry, who you got?
I've got
go to a break.
I've got New Orleans winning by
Go score.
14 at least.
Saints win 24-17. I wish. I mean, it's hard to be the team three times. I know it's been done 13 times the last 20 times since the merger, and it's still incredibly hard.
20 times it's 13-7. Teams going 3-0.
Yeah, but it's still incredibly hard. But I just think New Orleans has, and plus they're playing at New Orleans.
The stats say New Orleans 27-21. That's what I put in the paper. My brain says if I'm picking it, I'd have to go 31-17 or something like that. I think they win by more than a touchdown, the Saints do. If everything goes like it's supposed to. I'm not saying the Panthers can't win.
Well, watch, the Panthers are going to win this game somehow now.
They'll win by 20 or so. Because the turnovers change everything. If somehow the Panthers get 2 early turnovers and then run the clock out the rest of the game, it's going to be a close game like 2017 or something like that.
Well, my question for Smoke is this. What if Cam has another bad game?
If he has a bad game,
what are y'all
really
starting
bad.
to look at? Is y'all start looking at then, hey, we need another quarterback?
No.
Or are you just going to stick with the same
They're
man?
married to him forever. They're married to him longer than the Patriots are to Tom Brady.
See, the thing is, you're going to blame it on him when you got Kalen Clay and Brenton Burson as one of your wide receivers in a playoff game.
Well, I agree, but now he does throw off his back foot, and he's having a hard time even hitting Olsen. Even Olsen's getting aggravated with him.
He is the MVP and calls himself Superman Smoke, so the blame's going to start at that one.
I know, but when people say like
start at that guy,
Chris Carter, he's preventing this team from being great right now. I'm like, wait, Carolina would only be like a 4-win team without Cam Newton. So
well, that's true too. But.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a quick break. Come back. We're going to finish up. We're going to talk about the draft real quick. What should the Browns do?
And some of the coaching changes.
What coaching changes?
There was a lot.
In what?
NFL.
Oh, my goodness. John Gruden's back. All right, there you go. Coaching changes. We'll be back in just a few minutes. KTC Broadcasting.com.
Looking for the best deal on a new RV? Join Campers Inn of Kings Mountain at the Charlotte RV Show, January 19th through 21st at the Park Expo and Conference Center. We're offering incredible savings on top brands of motorhomes, travel trailers, and fifth wheels like Coachman, Columbus, Stryker, Puma, and more. Start the new year off with a bang by finding your dream RV. Don't miss out. These deals are only available at the show. Visit Campers Inn RV, the RVer's trusted resource, at the Charlotte RV Show, January 19th to 21st. Go online at campersinn.com. You may not know this, but the best greens of the Carolinas are right here in Shelby and Cleveland County at the Riverbend YMCA Golf Course. People continue to rave about the condition of the greens. Russell Spangler has worked hard to make them tip-top shape for your round of golf. And course manager Phil Wallace invites you to come on by and play. Call for their special rates at 704-482-4286 or visit the website at riverbendymcagolf.com. Call for your tee time today.
Check out what the Green Meadows Golf Club on Kelly Road in Mount Holly has to offer. On Wednesday, you can play all day for $28, including cart and green fee. And ladies, Wednesday is your day too. Ladies play and ride all day for only $15. To make your tee time, call the Green Meadows Golf Club at 704-827-9264. You'll love it. The Green Meadows Golf Club, located at 957 Kelly Road in Mount Holly. Come see what they have to offer.
Smoke, you know what that is?
Oh gosh, is that the that's a game show theme, isn't it? I don't know, but I heard a guy.
Doc, let him know.
But I heard a guy apparently Time on Twitter released this. Apparently, a man was convinced Pat Sajak told him to kill his mother.
Okay, that's awesome. Jock, what was that again?
Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
That was Jeopardy?
That's the beginning of Jeopardy.
Oh,
Smoke.
I've never heard the beginning. I knew that sounded familiar. Well, hey, prayers go out to Alex Rebecca. I heard he got
the answer is what is Jeopardy, Smoke?
Yeah. At least I didn't mispronounce gangsta.
Gangsta.
I didn't lose 5,200 to gangsta.
That was funny. Trebek had brain surgery. Hopefully he's okay. NFL mock draft real quick. What kind of strategy will the Browns go? Darnold and Rosen have both come out for the draft. So has Lamar Jackson. So has Baker Mayfield. They're all coming out. What will the Browns? Well, yeah, that's true. But what will the Browns do? What should they do? And here is what will they do? We have no idea. The mock drafts, we have no idea. They're not right. The funnest thing ever, Terry. In second year in college, we had a NFL draft quarter betting pool. So every draft pick, you put a quarter down, and you write down who you think it's going to be. And whoever wins, they get the money, right? Well, if it's a tie or everybody misses, it goes to the next pick. If everybody misses or if there's more than two. However, I can't remember the exact rules, but it'd go to the next pick, so the money would build up, right? You know what year we started this? It was the year the Vikings decided not to pick?
Yeah, they did that like 2 straight years.
So we've got 4 people in a room, maybe 5 of us. We've got all of us have all these mock drafts printed out. And the mock drafts, one of them took it outside with a lighter, lit it on fire because it went so nuts there in that first. That was the most fun draft I've ever been a part of. And that was the first one we did was we put quarters down. And then was just changing teams, and we're y'all yelling out names and making bets on, well, who's picking who or who's up now? And we didn't know. One of the funnest ways to watch the draft. Put quarters down on the draft.
That was before the internet, where you get the picks like 2 picks before.
Yeah, we had the internet, but we had. Are you talking about before you learned about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the internet. We had the printouts of who we thought. This mock draft. This is a Bleacher Report mock draft. They got Browns with Darnold, Giants, Rosen, Colts, Chubb, and Browns of Barkley at 4. Here's what the Browns can do if they're smart. Here's I'm going to give my ideas and see what you guys think. Quarterbacks. Unless you know for a fact number 1 quarterback is going to be a stud, which apparently no one really does in this one. So if that's the case, most of the time, first-round quarterbacks are 50-50 shots whether they make it in the league.
Just depends on the system or the coach. Yeah.
Everyone's saying they got 3 good quarterbacks in this draft at least, and Cleveland's got 2 of the top 4 picks. They can either trade back and get a ton more picks, which may be an option, which could be an option. There's a ton of teams. There's probably 10, maybe 15 teams this year. Half the league is looking at either a rookie or a free agent quarterback situation. So there's a lot of teams, a lot of quarterback turnovers about to happen. So will teams like Denver want to move up, or the Jets want to move up? Will the Dolphins say they're staying with Tannehill? Bengals have said they're starting completely over. Does that mean no more Andy Dalton?
We're starting completely over, but we're keeping the coach.
Yeah. Washington will be looking for a quarterback. Will they want to move up? Arizona will be looking for a quarterback. Will they want to move up? Will Baltimore do like Kansas City did this year, moving up for a quarterback, for a backup for the future? Chargers could be looking for a backup of the future. Buffalo will be in the market for a quarterback, and they're in the playoffs. Jacksonville may be in the market for a quarterback. They're in the playoffs. Minnesota may be in the market for a quarterback. So there's a lot of potential for Cleveland to cash in and trade back if they want one of these picks. Now, let's say they don't. Let's say they stay still, Terry. They could get the best defensive player in the draft, whether it's Chubb or Fitzpatrick, and the best offensive player in the draft, whether it's Barkley or Williams, and never have to do anything other than just make the picks.
Yeah.
Then Here's where it is. Well, what are they going to do at quarterback, Kevin? Well, here's where it's tricky, and here's where that comes into play. The Browns have $118 million in cap space. I can't remember the other team. There's only one other team with more cap space in this year. So they've got to spend it somewhere.
San Fran was the other one, I believe.
Yep. Kirk Cousins wants money. Blake Bortles wants money. Tyrod Taylor wants money. Alex Smith wants money. Anybody else? Tony Romo could possibly want money. He ain't coming back to Cleveland. But what I'm saying is someone's got to pay these quarterbacks money. Cleveland has a ton of it. If you're Alex Smith, you've played 10, 12 years, nobody thinks you're any good anyway. They throw you to the curb every time they get a chance. Why not take twice as much money in Cleveland to start, as I said, half money somewhere else to start, maybe end up being the backup? So Cleveland, I think, should throw money. I don't even care which quarterback it is. Throw money at one of those quarterbacks that has played in the NFL before, has won games before. Keep building the team with these you have a 1st and 4th pick. Unless you have the stud quarterback that will change the franchise and you know it for a fact. Those are very valuable positions where you can pick a player for 10 years to get to play for your team. Running back, quarterback, defensive end. Harold Landry, Boston College is getting up here. The tackle from Texas, Connor Williams. Joe Thomas is not going to be there forever. What if Cleveland goes Joe Thomas, Saquon Barkley, and then signs Alex Smith? You tell me they don't win 5 games next year at least then? A lot of things. There's so many. They have to make a decision on what they want to do. And I think they have to decide, and here's the key, before draft night. Don't wait there on draft night and start getting calls. Be like,
hang on.
Here's our strategy.
Don't listen to a homeless guy don't let a homeless guy tell you who to pick.
Who did that?
Jimmy Haslam, homeless guy, told him to pick Johnny Manziel over Teddy Bridgewater. But so yeah, there's that one.
Well, neither one of them played in the NFL last year.
I know.
Teddy don't even have
Cleveland,
Teddy at least threw a pass this past year.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead, Ted.
If you're Cleveland, I still think you got to go Chubb. I think that's got to be your first pick.
Okay.
You got to free up the other side. You got Garrett on one side. You got Chubb on one side.
And Garrett played well.
Everybody, to the middle. I mean, so you've taken care of spots there.
Okay, Terry,
and then you
sit
back. Well, okay.
Real quick, before you go there, if they do that and then take the Fitzpatrick kid, that means in 2 drafts they could have Chubb and Garrett on the defensive ends and then Peppers and Fitzpatrick at safeties.
Yeah,
Go ahead. What was you about to say?
But I mean, even if they come up and say the Giants take a quarterback in Indianapolis, so we don't know what Indianapolis is going to do because they got a quarterback. Are you going to go with the one that got luck, or are you going to get another one?
There's a ton of people talking Barkley with Indianapolis there.
That's what I'm saying. So you come back at number 4, even if Indianapolis does take a quarterback, which I don't think they will.
I think Indianapolis should take the Texas kid.
Yeah,
the
he's
tackle.
not that good. He's not as good.
So your quarterbacks are still there at number 4 if you want to take one.
That's the second strategy I was saying. If you do want a quarterback, I love that idea, Terry, too. Still take the best player at 1.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, if you got a 50-50 chance already, and then there's going to be 3 quarterbacks that's going to be available, one of them's going to fall to you. So now you got a 50-50 chance on a 60% chance.
And look, you got a GM who has a pretty darn good draft history.
He does.
John Dorsey, who drafted Marcus Peters and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. So,
and you still have Kaiser. I mean, you got closer this year than you've ever been to winning games. So do you all of a sudden bail him out and go get a quarterback, or do you give him another chance?
Look, I think Kaiser's confidence is broken because of the system he's in, the situation he's in, and it doesn't help when your coach throws you under the bus every stinking week. Like, that's going to help a 21-year-old as you just keep on throwing him under the bus.
One game.
Do you know why he left Notre Dame? Is because Brian Kelly kind of threw him under the bus too. And so, I mean,
well, maybe he deserves to be thrown under the bus.
He's good. He's raw. He's pretty. He could be a pretty good pro. It's just he's raw. He's
really
raw.
Is. Offense, they were dead last in offense. They were next to last in defense. So it's not just.
It's not just Kaiser.
That's why I'm saying
whole aspect
right
of the whole team.
And the the new GM even said, well, they don't have real players, and he was right in a lot of respects. So that's why I'm saying, with these top picks, they're so valuable because you have no idea what a second or third round pick is going to do. So if you can get 2 guaranteed starters, and you've got $100 million, somebody you can give it to somebody. You don't tell me Tyrod Taylor won't take $25 million a year for 2 years. I'm not saying give him a 10-year deal.
No.
You give Alex Smith 25 for 2 years, and then see where you go from there. You've got to make, because if you pick those good players now, start having talent in the building, when Alex Smith or the veteran quarterback is done and gone, then you still have good players in the building that's going to want other good players to come to. And like I said, with the Hornets drafting history and the Browns quarterback drafting history, you can't bank on that at all. You can't just say, yeah, that's what we're going to, we'll get draft picks. So that'll be awesome. Because Deshaun Kaiser, if you pick a quarterback now in the first round, then you wasted a second-round pick last year. And what happens if that quarterback you picked this year is not good? Then you wasted a first and a second-round pick when you could have had 2 starters on defense or wide receiver somewhere. All right, Smoke, you got anything else last to say before you say goodbye to everybody for the weekend?
Go
Panthers?
Hugh Jackson said he wouldn't finish 1-15 this year. He did not.
He's right. That was a promise he would make. He didn't.
He's gonna jump in the water.
You think he tanked the last game just so he couldn't go 1-15?
Pittsburgh was trying to help them. Regardless, they rested every single player. That play where Kaiser threw, that was a beautiful play. He got out of the pocket, somehow did not get sacked, and in the most Cleveland way possible, went right for the hand.
Yeah, that's what. Do you know what? That's what Dak said about Dez, Terry. He's going to have to throw it where he can catch it and just hit him right in the face next time. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Terry, last final thoughts on the weekend?
No, that's it. I mean, it's wild card weekend. I mean, this week and next week, to me, next week's the best time for football. But a lot of people like this week also. They bet on this one or the next one. So
well,
we'll
if you
see
include the college into this one, you could say this is one of the
Yeah.
best ones. But, wild card weekends, we usually have – there's always one upset on average, Terry, on wild card weekend. Did you pick any or did you go chalk?
I went with Chiefs. I went with Jacksonville.
Rams and Saints?
Yeah,
so
sure
Terry
did.
went chalk. I went chalk. Smoke picked an upset. He picked the Bills.
Yeah, he did.
I could see the Titans winning that game over the Chiefs. Something crazy weird happened that, and Andy Reid just blowing it all.
And I could see Carolina being good enough to beat New Orleans, but I don't think so. I don't think the offense is good enough.
You just never know in that. And when people say, well, it's tough to beat a team 3 times, well, yes, it is, because you know why? A, you know each other. B, it's got to be a division team. And how about the third reason is that for you to play 3 times, both of you have to be good.
Yes.
Because you have to be in the playoffs 3 times. So, yeah, that is a big case there. All right, that's it for us on Sports Talk. This Saturday, January 6th, it was 7 degrees when I pulled in. Y'all, what does it say in there? Y'all see anything in there? Any temperatures around in there? JP and them's trying to find out. But it was 7 degrees, I know, when I pulled in the parking lot this morning. I was not happy with that sign. But everybody
was 10 it was 10
It's 16 degrees right now. 16 degrees here at the studios. Thank you, Smoke. So, folks, stay warm, stay inside, drive safe. Be glad we're not covered in a blizzard like a lot of part of the country is. Think about if we ain't had no snow in this. And we've been miserable, and we don't have none of it.
been rain.
Exactly.
Think of how much thick of ice.
The whole this whole the beach has more snow than the Carolina mountains right now. It's just crazy. But folks, stay warm. Please take care of your pets. Don't leave them outside. Get them somewhere. Find someone. Someone will take care of your pets if you have a problem. Find someone that can. Get them some heat, blankets, whatever they need, and please take care of your pets. Ours. They're inside dogs, and they've acted like about us when we've opened the door for them to go outside.
They turn around.
They kind of look at me like, "Are you serious?"
No, not me.
All right, but we're gonna be JP is into the show. We're gonna be. Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes. I mean, not a few minutes. We'll be back next Saturday on KTC. Now, Terry, real quick, Jock, hold on one sec. Let me read Friday night's schedule for basketball. Lost it. That's not it. Where's my schedule for basketball? Anyway, next Friday night, I do know Kings Mountain will be at Crest. We'll have that game. Here it is. Cherryville will be at Bessemer City next week. And our Lincoln County game of the week next week, January 12th, is Maiden at Lincoln. All right, folks, we'll see you next Saturday. For Terry Reinhardt, for Evan Ludwig, for Jock Anderson, for John Prather, JP, if you want to call him that. For everybody else, thanks for everything. Campers Inn, Saturday Sports Talk, brought to you by Campers Inn in Kings Mountain. Breakfast has been by Mitchum's Kitchen up in Vail. We'll see you guys next week on KTCBroadcasting.com.
NASCAR's America's Tailgate Party, Friday mornings at 10 a.m. from the Motor Racing Network, and right here at Big O Country, WCSL, Cherryville, Gastonia.
It's Arctic high pressure that's building into the eastern part of the country. Boy, it's been cold out there this afternoon. At least we've had the sunshine. Now, with the setting sun this evening, temperatures drop fast. It'll be clear and frigid again tonight, the low temperature in the low teens. Tomorrow, we keep the full sunshine once again. And again, it's hard to get up to near freezing for a high. Upper 20s to low 30s the highs. And then partly cloudy, a little milder on Sunday. Our high temperature in the low to mid 30s. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.